Blog Talk Radio.
The lotus blue, 50 cent soda blue. Look at what we doing with the knowledge. We developing a type of college, building a machine with these cyber dollars. We brought you the hottest breed of scholars to water your mind with alkaline seeds of knowledge, to resurrect the lost city in the sea of knowledge. I'm from the Brooklyn Zoo with a sign spread. Don't feed the scholars, know the ledge. Every Tuesday and Friday, at least 2 hours. Broadcasting from Ground Zero, superheroes, the new Twin Towers, red and the blue, the new Jack Bowers. 24 hours of black and more power. Hotep, Islam, peace out, shalom. Welcome home. No one man should have all of that power. Return to the superhead rules in this age of water bearing. We in the matrix, auto staring. Hydroplaning down the information highway. Hanging out the window, shooting at the agents sideways. 9 p.m. Tuesday to Friday. It's Tuesday. If you coming at it sideways, you can say I did it my way. The good Dr. Sinatra. I'm Bojangle, the fallen angel. The church is Satan. When we gonna see the church debating? The earth's awaiting. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the earth is shaking. We birth a nation, we percolating. We easy to swallow. The information is hard as hell. The pills is in circulation. Impersonations, hard to tell. The spurs is hating. Somebody go right tell Gargamel.
Gargamel! Oh, please don't be frightened. I'm terribly sorry about this.
I bring my life to the table. I bring my right to the table. I bring health, wealth, knowledge, and self to the table. I bring Know the Ledge TV to the table. Conscious cable. I bring Know the Ledge radio to the table. Conscious radio. Conscious Wikipedia. I bring DVDs, books, Know the Ledge media to the table. Killing fables to the families of the royals. I bring Kings County to the table. Restore the royalty. The melanated Clark Gable. Soldier culture. To the tables, the superhead rules to the tables. I bring 7 heaven seed balls to the table. Soul water to the table. Red and blue, the Big Daddy Kane. Ready, willing, and able to walk through my stables. Full length stables, back from the future like Bishop and Cable. To introduce the freshmen to the X-Men. And all of their candy, excellent. No question, class is in session. Report to the chat room, pen and pad in hand. You wanna be there early and beat the caravan. People storm in the gate to get a plate. The lines packed like the Happy Land. Either open up with the latest cuts or the rat tools that bump out the latest trucks. From 9 to 11, we do it in the dark like we used to do it in the park. For the most part, from the very second that the show starts, you're witnessing a pose off, think Mozart, huh? The love received so far has been so hard. There's a few dudes that run, but they medullas ain't sharp, man, they so soft. Don't be thrown off any Zoloft. Avoid them at all costs, like raccoons or skunks. But back to the regular scheduled program. The program is sponsored by 7 Heaven. What else in hell can you get an open line to heaven at 11:11? Emerge at the other end of those meditation portals and elevated warp tools, even some abort tools. Any questions, comments, or concerns, press 1. For everyone else, thanks for attending another session. I'm pleased to teach, but it's an honor to learn. Certainly, courtesy of KTL University.
Oh, please don't be frightened. I'm terribly sorry about this. You are?
Peace to you and yours. Peace to you and yours. This is Know the Ledge Radio, and you are now rocking with the best. Yes, indeed. This is your host, Brother Blue Pill. All right? Please calm down. Calm down. We will be joined by the Brother Red momentarily. All right, in a second, the Brother B will be with us in the building. All right, shout out to the family. Shout out to you and yours. Shout out to the family's family. I'm going to let everybody get settled in. I'm still getting settled in myself. All right, so please bear with us. Matter of fact, man, I ain't got no tunes to go to. Give me a second, y'all. Let me figure this out. Chill. Real quick, I would definitely want to say welcome back. We took a episode off, and I was getting inboxes, people thinking the world ended. It did not. We are back in the building. All right. Let's see if there's something I can leave you with real quick. I get my thing together. We need some new music. Shit. Definitely gonna have one of more fire shows coming up real soon. Definitely need some new tunes. Go into this real quick. Distractions. A lot of people seem to be inundated with that these days. I'm going to just give y'all a little bit of this while I get my MacBook situated real quick. All right? I'll be back real quick.
Yeah. Nowadays we be rocking glasses with fashion and fucking with light refraction. Trevor will nag back, they're a hustling ass backwards. Insurance high tech, look like Richie from Last Dragon. Your focus on bogus rappers got you caught up in distraction. Who fucking who cares? That's distraction. Wish it was you, don't you? Why you asking? Try to break the law of attraction to get a piece of my attention. Just a fraction of a rational. I'm mental, the morsel of such a blood. If you believe in the immortals, we nocturnal like a sleeping disorder. See the water drawn away from the shore. This ain't no ordinary storm. We killing for humanitarian cause to have yet to show up in the force. The Arab Spring is what it's called, but it's looking like the product before the fall. They say it ain't about the spoils of war, but turn around and tell you how much more the oil will cost. Steal the land from the Native American and call them mental tomahawk. Make them a mascot and dress up like it's a sport. As the final insults, it's beautiful culture. Scavengers, feasting on the dead like a vulture. Snatchers, how you keeping up with my rap? You barely keeping up with Kardashian. You caught up in distraction. It's the living proof to try to make the truth elastic. It's Mr. Fantastic, I'm recycling these rappers. Truthfully, these niggas plastic. Coming through the front door, blasting. I ain't talking about the email that you always sent to the masses. To somehow end up in my trapping. My niggas got the aim of sharpshooters in the hearts of assassins. Artist war, artist life, artist passion. Shine for distraction. Who the fuck is the president? Wear flags and Maram in his deepest holes. To lay in line and strapping on the cracks in the earth. Underage and minor cause of disaster. My deep cuts way above your minor refraction. Talk to rappers like children, cause that's how they act.
Peace, y'all. I'm back. All right. No further ado, let me open up the line for my co-host, caller from the 347. Peace. Okay.
Good.
Well, we here. We back in the building, family. The world has not ended because we missed the episode. I just got to check your vitals. Make sure you still here. Is this a Red Pill phone?
Somebody hit me up like, brother, I know that you wasn't eating chitlins and playing with your presents on Christmas. That's why you missed your show. I was like, no, nigga, I was eating some tripe and drinking Kool-Aid. That's why I missed my show. Can the Naga get a day off? Crying out loud. Yeah, don't worry, family. That, you know, our December 21st didn't come early. We still here with you. Okay? We still love you. We in the building.
Yeah, that shit was like a KTL indictment. They was like, oh, we got you now.
It's the KTL secret indictment. We got him now. We got you now, boy. You niggas was playing Angry Birds. See ya, boy.
We got you now, boy.
See ya, boy. And we wasn't watching the Django Unchained either. We just was relaxing that day. You know, preparing for this new year right here.
Yeah, family. Like, we took a moment and we kind of forewarned the family a few episodes back. We said that after the world ends on the 21st, you know, we're going to get a breather. You know, take a moment at a time. And I'm going to tell you this, real talk, like, for no amount of money, nobody could have convinced me that last Tuesday was Tuesday. That shit felt like a Sunday. I don't care what nobody say. So
it just, even today
get into the Tuesday format feeling, I wouldn't have been the blue. I'd have been super blue.
I wouldn't have been the red.
Did not feel like a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a little off.
Like, you don't really feel like a Friday. Like, ever since the 21st, it's been weird. It's been weird.
Been real weird. Kind of weird. Yeah, but what's good, though, other than that?
Oh, you know, we in the building.
Okay.
You know?
Surely is.
Eventually, I did see the Django.
No, the D is silent. Django.
Oh, Django, my bad. The D is silent.
He said the D was silent. Django.
Django.
For the family, I ain't gonna lie, Spike Lee, don't judge me. Because you know what? I was on Facebook going in like a week ago, you know what I'm saying, trying to beat the drums of a nationwide boycott. You know, I was ready to, you know, get on Twitter and give it to Jamie Foxx, pause, and, you know, just go in on Quentin Tarantino, otherwise known as QT. And I went ahead and just said, you know what? I trust the family, and I know that the family, you know, we got a lot of Siskel and Ebert L-Bays out there, and I know that they won't steer us wrong. So I went on Facebook and I just posted, has anybody seen Django Unchained, and can I get some reviews? And 100 some odd comments later, I was totally convinced that, you know, I think that I need to be up in that movie theater checking out your boy. You know what I mean? I put all judgments aside. You know, we dug into the KTL budget and managed to get some popcorn and a ticket. And went to go see Django. And it was a very interesting movie. I was entertained. You know? Highly entertaining, I must say. You know, I don't want to get all into the show, the movie on the show tonight, because that will be taking place next week as our brother, the KT, the Arch Degree, the third pillar, makes his triumphant return to the broadcast, to the airwaves, and does the Django Unchained.
Yeah, family, we normally do, you know, Friday night at the movies, but this brother, he insisted that he wants to open up the new year, January 1st, 2013, on Tuesday, with the Django Decoded. As the brother said, my bad, Django Decoded. You feel me?
Yeah.
So this Tuesday, mark your calendars. Please do be in the building.
This is the only thing that I will say about the movie, is that the trailer was extremely misleading. And after listening to the brother Tariq Nasheed, I pronounced the name correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, after listening to his broadcast that he did on the movie, you know, I have a greater understanding of why the trailer was somewhat misleading, because, you know, they need them crackers to go support that. So, you know, they got to give them what they want. They can't make it. They can't put it all out there in the trailer. But, you know, it is what it is. It had its pros and its cons. You know, it wasn't the greatest movie ever. Some people talk about, that's my favorite next to Godfather 2 and all of that. I'm like, bruh, easy. Like, easy. You know what I mean?
You know,
what about Friday?
I'm itching. I wish that was tonight's episode. I wish that was, well, you know, tonight's show is what it's supposed to be. But if, in fact, that were tonight's episode, then I definitely would, you know, lend my 2 cents. But I will sit on that until Tuesday.
Until Tuesday,
I have a lot to weigh in on. I walked away with a notebook full of things that I observed. It speaks directly to our psychosis, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely look forward to the opportunity to build with the family, not to scrutinize anybody or point fingers, just to speak about, you know, what I've seen looking through these azure-colored glasses and what I peeped and what it says about us, you know what I'm saying, which is very deep. And just as much as I thought that we would be able to leave certain discussions in 2012 behind us, in particular, the nature of the debate, you know, the quote-unquote debate that took place, we can't do it. You know what I'm saying? We can't do it. We can't handle some of these things because ever since that particular time, you know what I mean, I've been seeing some glaring examples that have been pointed out to me through the way of the media. Now, it's no grand conspiracy, you know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that, you know, everything is a thought, and all thoughts are connected. And, you know, the universe is making a communication with us at this particular time. And we do really have to understand the importance of the subconscious mind. So we do have to delete a lot of programs. You know what I mean? Like the brother Hakeem Bey talked about, when you go into your computer, you go into that back office, and you see all of them programs running. You know what I'm saying? You got to delete them joints, or it's going to slow your computer down. It's going to boggle it down. And we really, really do need a back office detox. You know? But for the family that hasn't seen the flick, you know what I mean, and has the opportunity to check it out this weekend, not only do I say to go see that as a homework assignment, I say go see that and go see Hidden Colors 2 as a homework assignment, because we are not going to waste energy and breath just talking about Django Unchained and not, you know, offer some sort of counterbalance, which is Hidden Colors 2, because there was no stampede equivalent to people going to see Tarantino as it was going to see the brother Tariq's film. And that within itself should be, you know what I'm saying, a discussion. That should be a fucking debate. Pardon.
Good observation, young man.
But
good observation.
Then that speaks to our psychosis. So, you know, we're going to get into all of that this Tuesday. Feel me? But I know some people just want to be entertained, and I understand all that. So you'll get your entertainment as well. For those that want the edutainment, that's going to be in there as well. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to bring their moms out, because it's going down this Tuesday. You heard?
Mm-hmm. Sir. Still here?
So what's good with you?
All is well, man. You know, just riding this year out. Actually, you know, I'm going to keep it 1,000. I'm very, I want to get 2012 behind me. You know what I'm saying? It was a very interesting year. You know, a lot of things dominated my personal life this year. And, you know, it was cool for the most part. Like, it was cool. Like, it wasn't, like, disastrous or anything. But I just look forward to that 13. I look forward to 2013. You know what I'm saying? The procession of the equinox, that new age just coming in, you know? And I just want to move forward. So, I'm just basically focused on the the now and what's in front of me. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah. With that being said, that's a perfect segue. If we're gonna focus on the now and what's in front of us, when I look outside of my window, I see this enormous full moon. You feel me? And
indeed.
I've been trained to pretty much follow time as it pertains to these particular cycles rather than the calendrical cycle, So I want to share with the family the energy that's emanating at this particular time and what it speaks to, especially if, in fact, it lends support to the changing of cycles or ages or eons or what have we. What is this moon saying connection to these other lunar events that we've bore witness to these past few months? So real quick, I want to bring the big homie on. All right, our brother, your brother, Rakud Cosmocrat, Cosmophysician, all right, to break things down to the very last compound before we move forward. So call up from the 516-881. Peace.
Peace, Lord. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
What's the science?
What's good with you, bro?
Everything. Life is good with me.
Say that.
Indeed. As far as the moon goes, I think it's quite ironic that y'all would call for the moon to be elaborated on while she's at home. In other words, she's in the sector of the sky that makes her the strongest. And in terms of her influence, right? And the fact that it's a full moon today, I wonder, was that intentional? I look and I'm like, what? Y'all always happen to be in sync, man. The moon in cosmophysics, a.k.a. astrology, is it represents the feminine principle in nature, and it has rulership over the masculine nature as well. I want to dispel one myth regarding the moon where they try to connect the menstrual cycle to the motion of the moon, and that's really not the case, because the menstrual cycle waxes and wanes. It ranges from 27 to 32 or 33 days. And by the way, so does the rotation of the sun, because the sun is liquid, plasma. It's not a solid substance. So, and the moon takes about 2.5 days, that's 30 hours to go through each sign. Consequently, it takes the moon 27.3 days approximately, give or take, a few minutes, to go around the entire Earth. And it takes just that long for the human male to replenish his seed after having spent it, right? So the ancients referred to the moon as a masculine symbol and the sun as a feminine symbol. But, each one of them have a dominion over masculine and dominion and feminine nature, right? In ceremonial magic, or in the exercise of your will using universal forces, you have to pay attention to the phases of the moon, right? Because the light increases and decreases. And while the moon is increasing in light, or going from the new moon to the full moon, it is the time to initiate and the time to build and to bring your projects and your actions to a full stride by the time that the new moon is in. By the time that the full moon is in. And the best time to initiate projects is when the moon is new, or when you don't see it, because it is between the earth and the sun, and thus all we see is a shadow, if you could detect it, right?
the first phase of the moon is referred to as the new moon, and it is a time to begin your stride or to put things in order. Farmers would plant their seeds during the new moon because at this point, this is where their lunar energy, reflecting the solar flux, splits the seed and draws the plant forth. It starts to germinate, right? Then it goes into the crescent phase where you are beginning to collect your materials and arrange and organize them. And then we enter the first quarter, which deals with growth and expansion. So at this point, you're beginning to network or to set the foundation for what you want, whatever it is, to receive or to establish. All right? The gibbous moon deals with perfection or bringing your plan to fruition. It's like building a house, okay? I'm going to use building a house as opposed to planting, all right? So let's take it back to the beginning, all right? At the new moon, your ground is cleared, all right? It's already wiped clean. It's already laid flat. So it is just like preparing for, your foundation, laying your cornerstone. And then you measure out the square, which would be the crescent, the initiative. You set out the entire block from the foundation stone. And then you begin to stack your bricks or your boards or to set up the frame of your house or your building in the first quarter. Okay? By then, you're starting to put the erect beams up, at the corners and in the middle, and you're making sure that each one of them is square, right? Checking behind every motion that you make, right? Then we reach the gibbous moon, where we start to add the supports, the 45-degree supports between the cross beams and the vertical beams, because you want to strengthen whatever initiative that you're taking. You want to bring some strength to that. And by then, you have the full moon, and therefore the entire frame is set and is ready for the trimmings, the plumbing, the wiring, the insulation, And as it disseminates, you begin to bring your plan to a close. It is already climaxed at the full moon. And you start to beautify what you have put together, because when you build this house or build this building, you got all these wires sticking out and the walls aren't painted and what have you. By the last quarter, which looks like a half a moon, it'll be bright on the left side when you're looking at it, right? And the shadow will be on the right side. This is when you start to put your trimmings, your window sills, and your glass in the windows, right? And to connect all the gas pipes if you're going to use gas, or to connect all the circuits to the circuit board if you're using electricity, right? And you have the last phase, balsamic, is when you paint the house and put the sign up there, right? Now, this process, you could pick any process, building or to go about collecting or to plant seeds and reap a harvest. You have to divide your cycle into 8 parts, okay? And set your goal and your intention at each step and phase, right? The meaning of the moon in natal astrology is even deeper, because wherever you find the moon by sign and house in your birth chart will help to describe your mother, your attitude towards family members, right? It describes your heritage and your lineage, right? The moon also describes your feminine side, whether you are male or female. It rules the eyeballs and the stomach, as well as the breasts. Now, pay attention. The eyes emit water, that you tears, and they're constantly wet. And the moon is symbolic to water, right? And as we our children, we do a lot of crying. We have our emotions that we have not yet refined ourselves to practice composure and bring them together. It represents early stages in life when you are still connected to your mother. It is also describes your emotional tendency or your sentiments, your moodiness, all right? And the moon describes how you are, how you interact with the public, and how you receive people, right? Some key words that are indicative of that the moon are indicative of family, home, domestic, hometown, your connection to your community, all right? It represents the mother, the grandmother, the aunt, any female in the family. When it becomes genderless, it has to do with protection, all right? So it deals with bodyguards and doormen and, men who secure the door. And security people, detail, right? It also deals with great bodies of water, lakes, fresh water as opposed to salt water. So it's lakes, streams, rivers, ponds, wells, springs, all right? And basically, I mean, there's a lot more to it. In terms of animals, it rules all things that have a hard shell. So eggs, turtles, crabs, crustaceans, all right? Even roaches and water bugs, all right? Because the moon deals with protection. Now, we said it deals with the mother and femininity. When we look into nature, the mother is most protective of her young, even more so than the father, unless you're looking at sea horses, which is an anomaly in comparison to the rest of creation, right? And it deals with armor and protection. So not only is it protectiveness, but it is that protective instinct within you that makes you protective of your domain, territorial of your space, your home, your hometown, or your nation, or your people, your community. And this impulse is just as natural in humans as it is in animals and insects, right? And the moon governs all these things, right? The moon has an energy that draws all of the water away from the earth, and it makes the tide rise and fall, you see? And that same effect that it has on the water all over this planet, it also has on the human constitution and condition, right? Anybody that has any experience or any access to people who have experience with emergency rooms and police precincts or ambulatory or paramedic services and firemen will see, they'll be able to attest to when there's a full moon that crisis is at a peak. It is a time where it is highly active. Excuse me.
And even the meaning of lunatic, that pretty much to the fact that on nights like this, when people are apt to go out and engage in drinking, the consumption of alcohol depletes the water in your body. So the moon has a higher control on your physical because of that particular depletion, which will lead you to do certain things that will pretty much put you in the category as being a lunatic. So that's based on the relationship that you're having with the moon at this particular point in your water intake.
Yeah, well, even when you're not hydrated, right? The moon has a pull on the chemicals in your form, anything that is liquid. So, and this is what makes us feel. And when I say feel, it makes us emote, to have emotions, to be sad or happy. It depends on the pull or the moon or how much you let that affect you, because, the consciousness is the mediator. Your conscious mind is the mediator between all of that, all right? The moon is like, it's neither good nor bad, all right? Because it's a part of our own selves. It is indicative of the subconscious mind as well, or what we would call the subconscious mind, because I am of the mind that we are just purely conscious. Some of us have more access to our conscious than others. And that part of your consciousness that you're not accessing is what they would refer to as your subconscious, right? What influence it has, we can watch by its timing, all right? Pay attention to the moon when it's full, when it's in quarter, and if you know your chart, recognize when it gets to be 90 degrees away from a specific planet in your own birth chart, all right? And when it is 90 degrees from that, then it is applying a square and it brings tension. But when it is 120 or when it is 60, 120, or 180 degrees, it brings harmony, all right? When the moon is at its fullest, it is beaming its light, and not only does it just activate the solar flux throughout nature, it actually illuminates. You know, the light of the moon, you don't need a flashlight under a full moon on a clear night, you see? Right. And that light has an effect on our consciousness, right? And it is during the full moon that because we have access to the sun at its fullest when it is not above ground while the moon is full, this is an opportune time for meditation and to put your thoughts into fruition, or your intentions into fruition, you see? And you can tell, you can like almost set your calendar by the actions of a lunatic because of the moon, to reflect back on what you were saying. You know, the moon is like an activator, an energizer. So whatever sign she's in, the planet that rules that sign is activated in. And to give it a more of an analogy, it's like 10 players sitting around the table, okay? And the moon is the one that will tap the player on the shoulder to let him know it's his move. See? So when the moon goes over your sun degree, you know it's time for you to activate those principles and things that the sun indicates, like your will, your consciousness, dealing with children, love, affairs of the heart, things of that nature, creativity, when it rolls over Mercury. Pardon?
With that, family, I definitely want to say thank you. What you got coming up this Sunday for the world on Cosmic Physics Radio?
Well, we're going to do a elementary lesson, man, on how to set up your number line and how to track the moon through your chart. Every 2 hours, it moves a degree, approximately. So it's going to deal with a lesson on how to activate your planetary energies to its fullest. You know, when the moon hits your Venus, you know, it's time for affairs of the heart and social affairs and money-getting schemes as well, you know, because the moon activates Venus and gives her an energy that she is not usually, or that she wouldn't otherwise have in that part of the month. So if people, you know, if you pay attention to your cycles and you notice how, like, you know, every 4 weeks you have a good week and then 2 of those weeks are kind of rough. One of them, your energy is building, and the other one, your energy is waning. Well, if you pay attention to what phase the moon is in when you have your good days, then you need only remember that and see what phase the moon is in to know what action to initiate in that regard.
All right, family.
Because I can go on, you know.
Definitely heard it here. Check the brother's show out this coming Sunday. That's on the Abundance Network at 8 p.m.
Yeah, right here on Blog Talk Radio at the Abundance Network. If y'all want to write the number down now so you can participate, it's 347-215-6592. Bring your notebooks, you know, and
for sure, because class will be in session over there.
Indeed.
All right. Shout out to your conglomerate, all of those cosmophysicians in the building with you over there as well.
Yeah, Coach Kaye, Abundance, Kristen, Marco, Darren, indeed.
Yes, indeed. Give thanks, bro.
Peace.
Peace.
Always.
Peace to the God.
You already know. certified bomb dropper. All right? Take that information, take that knowledge, and please apply it, turn it into some priceless wisdom for you and yours. Okay? These days are vital. This energy is what's up. And utilize it. I definitely want to give a shout-out to the Feminine Principle. Send some love and some light to my wife. Wonderful her. Chia. So, Brad.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, how would you like to proceed from this point?
Oh, let's start the show. I mean, it's definitely going to take a great amount of time to cover all of the monumental programs, the recapping of the programs that we put together this year. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, family. And, because everything is dealing with forward progression, very rarely do I have the opportunity to stop and look back. Once in a while I got to dip into the archive and grab an episode or remind myself, what show was what. But when we were going over this list, and I was looking at the shows that debuted this calendar year, and just the monumental lineup, the cataloging of history that took place, the crystallizing of time that's in those archives, I really, had to step back and be like, wow, like we really did that. I remember when last cycle started, when we started last cycle, and we were just peering down that unpaved road, that unpaved road representing the future, that's the road that don't got no concrete laid on it, it's just rough. It's like what they said when they found the Bronx when, the farmers came, it was just farm road. There was no paved roads, there was no streets, no corners, no lamps, no traffic lights, none of that. It was just farm, it was just land. So we had to pave the road. We had to blaze the trail. We had to lay the concrete. We had to smooth the pavement out. We had to put the dividers in the middle of the road. We had to set up traffic lights. We had to direct traffic. We had to put the whips on. We had to put shoes on the whip. We had to put the armor roll on the whip. We had to do all that. And
pave the cobblestone, the road less traveled.
Now, everything's flowing. It's beautiful. People have jumped on that road and gone monumental distances, Other people have crashed. There's other people on the side of the roads waiting for their tires to get fixed. Other people got their whips broken into. Other people got holes on the strip. Truth be told, you feel me? And some people is on the strip themselves prostituting. So, teach us.
Hitchhiking, thumbs out, trying to get a lift. It's awful long.
Yeah, some people hitchhiking. You know what I'm saying? Some people sleeping on the side of the road. All types of shit. So
I don't want to. I'm not going to apologize. I just want to say that, I got to definitely give, you your props. I have to give this program its props for existing. As far as I know, if I'm wrong, then by all means, that's why we have a chat room. Correct me. But I don't know of any show that is out there that is doing what Know the Ledge Radio is doing. And I say that because...
Not allowed to say that.
No, what I'm saying is the relentless
I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Commitment to showcasing and presenting new speakers, people that you've never heard of before, ever. Speakers that you have heard of before in this community. You know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking about, the David Icke crowd and these other people who I really don't relate to like that, because I don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? They may have information that's out there, but they're not part of my community or my circle. I don't rub shoulders with them. Like, if they come on the show, chances are on Saturday or Sunday I won't be in the same building as them, building with them. You know what I mean? Supporting them and them supporting me. That's not what happens. I'm talking about the introduction of the family, of those who we consider family members, an extended family, of scholars, both male and female, you know what I mean, young and old, new and established, to the airways and to a community who is hungry for this information and hungry for this knowledge, and they trust this program because they trust that the people that we are bringing forth are people who we hold in highest regards, and they're going to bring information that can be utilized, and it can be information that, if utilized properly, it will help advance your life. One thing that we stay committed to when it comes to introductions of the lecturers and the scholars on our program and the topics, and you'll hear that tonight when we go over the plethora of shows that have taken place this year, is that every single show had information that was applicable. Nobody gets on Know the Ledge just to talk about, some other shit, like some BS, you know what I mean, and waste your time trying to convince you of stuff that really is not true, or information, just highfalutin information. It don't mean nothing. Like, you get off of the show and you're like, what did I just sit here and listen to? You know what I'm saying? We don't deal with that. We deal with individuals who have products and services and programs, organizations, and other things that are very beneficial to the individuals who listen to the information and wish to follow up. Now, that at that point is beyond our control. There's no way in, God's green earth that I could control, who's going to call or contact one of our guests right after the show or days after and follow up with them. But, like I said, this is, the show is trailblazing. It is in a class by itself for many reasons. And, I just have to say it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope I don't offend anybody, but it's just, it is what it is, you know what I mean? We're doing a very, very honorable work. We're doing a great job. This is historic. It's going to be in the history books, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a continuation. It's really us just paying homage to all of the great works that have come before us. I'm just keeping it 1,000, like the 5,000 DVDs that I may have watched throughout the decades. This is just me and my brother giving back. There's no other way that I can give back but to put together programs such as this and a platform such as this to help extend something that I hold extremely, extremely dear to my heart. You know what I'm saying? Extremely dear to my heart. And that's this consciousness. Maybe not what everybody deems as the conscious community, because I don't know what that is. But the consciousness, the scholars, the audience, the brothers and sisters who contribute, you know what I'm saying? I hold all of that dearly to my heart. The movements that have come out of this and that will come out of this, I hold that dearly to my heart. I wouldn't be on the front line putting everything on the front line if that wasn't the case, because we don't do it for the money. You know what I'm saying? This is not a high paying occupation. Like this does not reap any financial benefits whatsoever. You understand? It's not to sell T-shirts. It's not to sell water, because we was doing that way before the show. And to be honest with you, I was selling 20 more times of what I'm selling now when I wasn't doing this. This is not to be known, because that wasn't a problem before. I'm not here for fame. I don't need nobody to know me. You know what I'm saying? This is a commitment to my higher self, and this is a commitment to my ancestors, and this is also a commitment to my son and the other little ones that are out there who may need this information when they're going through some hard times in their lives, the same way that I was going through hard times in my life as a teenager, as a young adult, and I was looking for a way out. And I had two options, you know what I mean, to self-destruct or destroy myself, or to save myself. And I found that saving at LIU, Long Island University, at the hands of Bobby Hemmett, Delbert Blair, and Phil Valentine, to begin with, and Dr. Sabi and a few other luminaries. You know what I'm saying? So I'm paying homage, and it's as simple as that.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, let's get into it.
I felt awful. You know, I was getting prepared for the show, and I got 2 phone calls from customers. And I couldn't take the phone calls because I had to prepare for the show. So if I'm in a situation where I got to put something that I love doing, my service to humanity, my higher purpose, in front of another one of my services to humanity and my higher purpose, because I don't look at my business as a quote-unquote, you know, how some people might, like, my business is attached to who I am. This is why I'm here. This is part of what I'm here for. So a lot of sacrifices get made, is what I'm saying. To do this,
yes,
no recompense. Like, I don't believe what they tell you. People don't get checks from Blog Talk. If anything, you know what I'm saying, the little check that we get from Blog Talk decreases every month, even with the views going up. And, you know, Lord knows why that is. But it's no fiduciary payoff that's involved in doing what's being done. You know, it's not about quote-unquote fame. Like,
this is a labor of love.
We're not weirdos. We don't come from that group that you could still find on Blog Talk, you know what I mean, who actually needs that amount of attention. You know, we are twins, so we've had an ample amount of attention throughout our lives. So this is not what this is for. This is for the service of humanity and our higher purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because you definitely got to put yourself in the driver's seat. Everybody else is the passengers. But, you know, if we're driving the ship, Nebuchadnezzar, we're taking the same careful approach. We don't want to crash and burn, same way that we don't want to crash and burn you in it. So you are in the ship, riding with someone who has a purpose to get from point A to point B. You know, so just wanted to share that. And absolutely that's what this is. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, yet still, the Blog Talk bill is due. So, you know, find it in your heart, KTL Media, you can go over there and make that happen. There's a contribution button. I won't even call it a donate button because, again, we do have to remind the family that if this is where you're spending your time and this is where you're putting your energy, then this is something that is rewarding you, and you should be returning that reward. It's not money that's going to Red and Blue Pill. It's money that's going towards continuing this education, continuing this platform, and keeping the lights on Know the Ledge Radio. All right? So, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to leave you with that.
I'm gonna get a haircut on my own. Don't worry about that. I got that. You don't have to worry about it.
And, okay, so let's get into this program. All right?
Yes, sir.
Where would you like me to start, bro?
Is there a description?
Let me read the description.
Please do.
That's normally how I begin. All right? Peace, family. Peace to you and yours. Welcome to 2012, the Curtain Call, featuring the Red and the Blue Pill. Join Know the Ledge Radio as we wrap up the 2012 calendar year are doing a recap of our monumental broadcasting season, as well as taking a trip down memory lane in regards to this year's news cycle. We will evaluate what we learned from this year, what we can care to leave behind, and what needs to be improved. It is also an open line, so we are taking input from listening audience members as well. Before the year closes out, if you feel you need to get something off your chest before that 2012 goal closes, now's the chance. What have you learned? What do you want to improve upon? What guest did you like the most? Is there anyone that you would like to hear on KTL that you haven't heard from in a while? How would you improve upon the platform? We are entertaining all of the questions on your mind and the input in your heart. So tonight, let's build. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick recap, if that's possible. We are going to run through the shows that we did this particular calendar year. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of standout shows that have to get honorable mentions. We have to speak upon these things in the spirit of Sankofa. In order to move forward, we have to look, behind us to see what these accomplishments are, because this is the legacy that we're pulling into the future, into 2013. So let us be mindful of what this year has brought us and what we have contributed to the annals of history, okay?
Yes, sir.
January 3rd was our very first show for the 2012 calendar year. That show featured Juju Mama, also known, as Kenya Stevens. And the name of that show, The Magic of 2012. All right, we set it off with that. We set it off with divine feminine sex magic energy. Okay, the sister was building on the nature of relationships, love, healing, growth, all of the things that are integral to the energy of this moon, ironically enough. So, cycle's complete, okay?
And I just want to quickly attest to the power of that show, because once again, what these shows are, to me personally speaking, is they are testaments to growth, and they are also a testament to show me, where I was in life when these shows were taking place. And it's also wonderful that, you're able to look back, because it's hard to look at a show a week later or a month later, but when you can look at it 12 months later and, look back at it and see where you're at in life now, then you can see the magic in the show. Now, the sister came on the show, and one of the focal points of the show was dealing with relationships. Correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And that is her expertise. That's where she's, well known for. And me personally speaking, my 2012 was all about relationships. Like, I don't know nothing about, nothing. I don't know about the mothership and things. Some people have experienced that, but the cornerstone of my year has been my relationships. I was in 2 relationships this year, 2 major relationships that I've been in this year. I'm still in the second relationship as you speak, and but there's also other relationships that also have been reshaped and improved upon. Some relationships, or friendships for that matter, came to abrupt ends. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of cutting of the grass, a lot of, snakes have been hopping out of all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of things took place, and the sister set it off for me. And it was magical. Like she said in her show title, that right after that show, 4 days later, is when, I met a sister who, I had a relationship with. You know what I mean? We developed a friendship, and it developed into a relationship. So that show, for me, I'm just testifying, it opened up the gates, because I was miserable at that point. Like, real talk. Like, I was lonely. I was going through a lot of, just stuff in my personal life that I wasn't happy. You know what I mean? And she brought a sense of therapeutic resolve to my situation where when I hung up the phone that night, I said, everything is going to be all right. Everything is, you know what I mean? Like, don't live in this moment and think that, you know, the rest of your life is going to be this moment. That there is somebody out there that, you know, will be able to come along and bring that healing energy that you so need. And the ancestors or the cosmos or whoever it was brought that Match.com. I don't know. They brought that sister in my life, and she helped me on my journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, she definitely helped bring me back up from where I was at. You know what I mean? I give her props and respect for that. But, yeah, Juju Mama. Definitely, I recommend her for anybody who has not heard that show to please tune in to that show and download that show and listen to the sister. And if you heard the show and you want to hear more from the sister, you know, go ahead and look her up on Google. She's very heavy in the social network world. You will be able to find her website and also different things, different content that she has on YouTube and other places. But please continue.
Yeah, well, definitely, you know, the fact that we are twins, and I'm sure as Brother Raku can attest, you know, we go through similar things. We just go through them at different points. And being that you were born first, I guess you have the dubious task and opportunity to experience them, and then I pretty much follow in step. So this year has well been all about relationships with me and learning experiences, and pretty much, you know, going through the fire to expunge yourself of things that are impure, and pretty much choosing, to come out the higher person. And that's a choice that you have to make. I'm not saying that, you know, just because I made that choice, that's a choice you made. But I see through your actions that that's definitely where you strive to go towards as well. So I also got to commend you for leadership, you know what I'm saying, because I'm able to look towards you as an example of where I want to be with things. And I guess even at some points, look at you as an example of some things that I don't want to do. So yet and still, I mean, that's the power of having a twin, is that you really see yourself in different walks and different expressions. So I want to commend you.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving forward.
All right.
To understand, you know, she laid the foundation, which was talking about what one needs to do in a particular relationship to strengthen one's relationship, to utilize, you know, what's available in a relationship, to change certain things within you, to attract certain things that you want in a relationship. And also, you know, she was talking about how to program yourself in accordance with the moon, similar to what the Brother Rock, who just spoke upon. The next show that we had was a show on January 6th, okay, that the Brother A.A. Rashid was featured on, okay? And this particular show was titled, hold on one second, you didn't write the title down, bro. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm running through the archives, and all of these shows are available for a limited time in the archive family, because I ain't gonna have all these shows up here next year, you know what I'm saying, just to be sitting around. We're definitely gonna be doing something different with them. So please access these shows as you seem fit. They are available at this particular time. All of them are in the archive. The show that I'm talking about aired on January 6th, and it was called 1982 plus Saturn equals 2012, okay? So the brother, all right, the brother came forth with his genius and explained to us about the cycles of Saturn and the 30-year itch. And we learned about the 7-year cycles for those of us that didn't know of Saturn. And it kind of helped us put context to repetitive behavior patterns that we see in our own lives, as well as identifying and addressing the core issues, many which, for us, start at young ages, around the age of 7. So she prepared us in one way, and he came with a plus degree to push us forward as well, where we can identify these particular things that may have happened to us earlier in life that we haven't dealt with, that we have to deal with if we want to move forward, especially having productive relationships, because these core issues will always be recurring. They will always repeat themselves. And as Saturn comes into Scorpio, for us, for Scorpios, you know what I'm saying, it's just going to get more intense, all right, as we can attest to when we go further down the calendar with these shows. Okay? So, Red, you still with me? Okay. Yeah. So that was on January 6th. That show was featuring A. Rashid. Definitely a standout episode. Okay. Immediately after that, on January 10th played host to an extremely monumental show, you know what I'm saying? Definitely one of our standout blockbuster episodes, and that was the Destiny Blueprint. Okay, and that was featuring Sister Myra, Lord Strayhorn, and Sister Dorothy Muhammad. That show was in dedication to Blue Ivy, the birth of Blue Ivy. We thought that we would utilize situations such as that, a birth of a baby that, the whole world pretty much bore witness to. We thought that we would utilize opportunities such as that to do her chart and her numerology and her name analysis, just to show the family and to show the world how these things have credence, you know what I'm saying? And if we can utilize a child such as that already, people know the significance, they know the backstory and everything. And for those that was following the Law of 44, they saw all of the intricate markers that were dealing with this particular child, okay, and how that pretty much spun into, the story. So Destiny's Blueprint is the show that came out of that. It was a monumental show. These decoders did a wonderful, wonderful job. I was actually told that this episode made its way all the way up, you know what I'm saying, all the way up that ivory ladder, hopefully either to the ears of Hov or Beyonce, and they heard it. So, they got some monumental information. Some other things came out of that show later on that I found out, spoke to, some information came out that spoke to some other information that probably wasn't as clear on the show to those who, pretty much was listening, but it made sense to me once I was told what was going on. So, yet and still, again, another monumental episode, all right, that people should definitely check out. Now, show after that, okay, which receives honorable mention, was on the 13th of January. The show was titled From Ghetto to Goddess, featuring Sister Amina. Okay. Also, definitely a monumental show. Another one dealing with healing, dealing with healing, dealing with the feminine principle, and dealing with the path that many sisters can identify with, especially those that have come into conscious community, from quote unquote, from the streets, from the outside world, that have walked different paths, what have you. Everyone can relate to someone who shares their story. So that show right there, From Ghetto to Goddess, is a show that we recommend that a lot of sisters need to listen to, because the sister not only offers her story, her testament, but she speaks about her redemption as well, how she came through it all. So this is definitely one worth digging up through the archives and checking out. Now, the show after that was, well, we had a few shows after that. I'm going to jump to one of the shows in the archive that came after that. It was, pretty much one of the standout shows, and that was on January 24th, featuring Brother Polite. Okay, and this is pretty much when he started digging into his economic bag, and the first show was Can't Live Another Year in Poverty, featuring Brother Polite. This is pretty much when he started, getting into that particular realm where he put the metaphysics behind them, and he started dealing directly with the economic information or that particular paradigm. That show was heavily downloaded, very well received, and it started a lot of discussion in the community because he ruffled a lot of feathers on that. Okay? So you definitely want to check that out. January 24th, to the archive. 2012, Can We Live Another Year in Poverty? All right? Hope I'm not running through these things too quick and leaving anything out. If there's anything that you want to add on, please feel free. Okay? Immediately after that, on the 31st of January, we had a show to me that still is, it's a standout. It's monumental because we grow up listening to this brother's music, heavily influenced by him when we was in the dance hall. Sprout Bands came on the program and, totally put on a different, hat, no pun intended, you know what I'm saying? And this program was called A Hidden History of the Moors and Rastas, enlightening to say the least. You feel me? This was a monumental show.
Yes, that show right there, for all of the family, even if you don't listen to dancehall or reggae, is a testament, a monumental testament to how far this information and this consciousness is reaching. This brother who is basically a world-renowned dancehall artist, put his pride or his ego in his back pocket. Because, a lot of brothers that's in the industry, rappers, singers, and whatnot, they have knowledge of self. Like, that's not
a rarity.
Something, right. Yeah, that's not a mystery, not a secret. Like, a lot of them have a lot of knowledge of self, but they are afraid. Some of them are so arrogant that they feel like they need to share that with the peons, the little people, you know what I'm saying, the audience, because they don't feel like, that it's not even talking about. But this brother got on the show and totally put it all out there, had the information to back up, his research about the connection between the Moors and the Rastafarians, or the Maroons for that matter. So I want to give that brother monumental props. He is still very active. He's on Facebook. He is, in the ears of a lot of his brethren, a lot of his brothers just out there, and, his brothers and sisters in the reggae world, and hipping them to this whole Moorish science. So I want to give him props, and you will be seeing something in the near future that we're going to be doing together to, make this visual. But let's continue, please.
Yes, indeed. Again, shout out to that brother. All right, that was a monument to the parents, monumental exchange of information, because not only did he come and drop bombs, he learned a great deal as well. So there was a wonderful connection that was made, and I'm sure that he was able to bring that back to his community and build upon that. So shout out to that brother. All right, after that, next show after that was February 7th, and this was the Bob Law / Super Bowl 2012 recap show. All right. Unfortunately, I didn't do my pregame show on the KTL platform, so you would have to go over to what is that?
Ampu Astrology.
Yeah, Ampu Astrology.
I'm saying you was ringing the alarm. You was on your Giants. You was all in the Giants bag.
I was ringing the alarm all of 2011.
It started with the Blue Ivy show.
I'm saying
all in your Giants bag, telling people bet on the Giants because of that 44.
Yeah, I was, all in 2011. I was prophesizing about the Giants, just like I had the year before, prophesizing about Green Bay, and they won it. Shout out to Sister Myra. I mean, no disrespect. But, I saw it clear as day what was going on with the Giants because I was following my 44 thread, and it has never to this day let me down. It speaks to me, and it spoke to me, and I put it out there, not out of arrogance for the family to make some bread because, I'm not a gambler. That's not what I do. But I understood from the Green Bay, from last year's Super Bowl, I'm like, okay, this is how people cash out. You know what I'm saying? So, if this is what you do, then here go the science. Boom. We did a pregame show. I laid it out unlike anything else. There's no other way in which I could flip it. I said the game was going to be decided by 4 points, and it was going to be determined. The winning play was going to be done by number 44, and that's exactly what happened. Okay? So, February 7th, we covered some of that, but we also put that aside and brought forth our brother Bob Law. We did the Law 44, but we brought forth the radio veteran himself, Bob Law, okay, who spoke about the dynamics of black radio, how important it is, how integral it is to us as a community. If you want to call yourself a community, you cannot pretty much reference that without having radio involved. Radio is integral. My mother explained when she came on the program many times that they wouldn't have been able to do what they did with Dr. Sebi in regards to getting the word out and the healing without radio. Radio is what broke them in the New York market. Nobody else was giving them the light of day. So radio is vital. This is not a platform that people need to spend time gossiping on and throwing eggs from one platform to the other. All that cornball shit that occupied a lot of platforms in 2012. You know what I'm saying? The reason a lot of these platforms got gaping holes in them and they sinking ships. Okay? And some of them just ain't around no more. They just don't exist. Okay? Because they chose to utilize this precious time for some BS. Bob Law laid it out. Like I said, a radio legend. Please go and check him out in the archives. That show aired on February 7th. Next show that we need to mention, February 17th and 18th. This was the historical 6-hour broadcast. Okay, we was on the radio 6 hours straight on this show. This was directly after the death. May she rest in, may her soul rest in, I don't even rest in peace, rest in light. Sister Whitney Houston, okay? Mm-hmm. And a private investigator just came out with a report saying that she was murdered, and he has the proof. And, of course, anybody who read the autopsy can see, like, Jesus, like, that shit was so, incoherent. You know what I'm saying? Like, just read the autopsy. What was said in the autopsy? She drowned in a foot of water? Like, come on now. Anyway, Star Holocaust was the name of that show, right? And it was featuring Brother Polite and Minister Inky, okay?
Yeah, that was the legendary show right there.
Yes, it was. Brother Polite and Minister Inky, a 6-hour broadcast dealing with the Star Holocaust leading up to a monumental lecture that they was about to give in
the
ATL. All right, shout out to the ATL family for that. Okay? February 24th, another monumental episode featuring Sonia Barrett. Okay, a brilliant mind. Brilliant mind. Shout out to that sister. She was coming to Brooklyn to do a lecture with Brother Shabazz. Shout out to Brother Shabazz at LIU, called Unlocking the Holographic Universe. She came on around 10 o'clock and did her thing. She only needed about 45 minutes to an hour to pretty much mesmerize us with her information. Again, like I said, a beautiful mind. Please check that program out. Check out some more extensive interviews that she's done on YouTube. She has her own radio channel, Inner Light, I think, or something to that particular. Yeah, just check her out, Sonia Barrett. All right, check her out on YouTube. Beautiful sister. Okay. Next show, February 28th, The Harmonics of Love and Light, featuring Delbert Blair and Coach Khayr. Another monumental episode. You know what I'm saying? The doc is you know, almost like one of the resident KTL members. It's part of our alumni, Coach Khayr, as well. That's KTL Middle East. Shout out to Coach Khayr. They had a wonderful program on that particular episode. I really like the flyer I put together for that episode. And that's another thing, babe. Like, we can't talk about these programs without talking about the flyers that I put together for these programs. I stepped out of my shell this year, and I put back my designer hat on because I had put it away for a second. I was digging in my journalist bag and my healer bag and other things, and I stopped my visual graphics. So I picked that back up this year. You know, I dusted the Mac off, learned Keynote, and I just went in. So shout out to myself for the visuals that accompany these monumental shows, because that gave it three-dimensionality. You know what I'm saying? Man? I remember you used to do videos for these shows. Remember that? Commercials? Brad.
Yeah.
I remember you used to do commercials for these some of these episodes.
What you mean?
I guess, yeah. I don't remember, neither do I. It's been that long, huh?
I used to do commercials.
Yeah, on the YouTube. KTL Presents. You don't remember those? It's been that long.
Yeah. It wasn't this year, though.
That's what I'm saying. You missed a whole year.
I know. I used to do the ill commercials for the upcoming shows.
When I wasn't doing flyers, you was doing commercials. When you stopped doing commercials, I started doing flyers. So, family, for 2013, maybe we could combine forces and do flyers and commercials. How about that?
That'll be the day.
Okay. March 2nd. All right. That's our sister's birthday. Shout out to Lauren. Hip Hop 2012. The Illuminated Agenda. Okay, this was Blue Pill, Red Pill, and A.A. Rashid. I believe this was the recap for a monumental lecture we had just did out in Maryland. Shout out to PG County College. Shout out to Jermaine. Shout out to the entire family. Shout out to Patrice. Shout out to brother Haru Makaba. Shout out to Mel Torch. You know what I'm saying? The whole family that came through and showed love and support for that endeavor. Love the PG County family. Definitely got to do that again this year. All right? Psychometry and the Science of the Melanated Mind. All right? Now, this is where we get into the segment, family, where we've explained that KTL brought on many people to the program who were never featured on any other Blog Talk programs. You know what I'm saying? And opened a way where the family were able to do lectures around the country, you know what I'm saying? Get their Facebook things popping, just pretty much expand their platform for them to live in their purpose and do what it is that they do. We don't take credit for them doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? I didn't endow them with the abilities to do what they do. They're not reading from my notebooks. They didn't take a blood transfusion from me. None of those things. You feel me? We are just saying that we have opened the doors for many people to come through and shine their light. As a result, okay, those people will have continued to go up on an escalator to live in their purpose. That's it. I'm done. So, this particular show featured the beautiful couple, Jerry Miller, Sandra Frazier. All right? This was broadcast on March 6th. Okay? The family came through and he did their thing. They did their thing on that program. Shout out to them. The next show, March 13th, okay, was called Sacred Sounds and Holy Orgasms. This was a two-part show. One advertising an upcoming lecture. It was in Atlanta, featuring our brother Aline Bay. Shout out to Brother Panic, okay, for putting together that monumental lecture, that wonderful lecture with his wonderful family and his audience that came through there. And it also was introducing the world to a brother named Astarius Miraculi and showcasing his talents as well. This brother who's a master with the didgeridoo out in Atlanta. Shout out to Tassili. Okay, his mate. The brother was introduced to the world on a platform. I believe he has a blog talk show now as well. Shout out to him. You can Google him. Check him out on YouTube. Look him up right here on Blog Talk. Definitely look into what that brother says, you know what I'm saying, has to say about the power of sound. Said that he is from the clan of the Angels of Trumpets.
Yeah.
Okay? And anybody who has been in the presence of his healing work, his healing that he does with sound, can attest this brother is definitely, he's blessed and he's gifted from a whole other place and dimension. So check these people out, you know what I'm saying? Weigh it out for yourself. We're just telling you who are the light beings and the star seeds amongst you, identifying them, right, for you to check them out. March 23rd, okay, right here on KTL Radio, we had a very controversial show, all right? And this show was called The Trayvon Martin Factor.
Remember him?
Yes, family. Y'all remember Trayvon? All right. So that show was like a open line show. You know what I'm saying? The family sentiments were pretty high at that time, and you know, you can check that show out. It is in the archive. And there was some monumental information on that show as well. March 22nd, we brought forth for the first time, introduced to our platform, the Mooney Twins. This was their introduction on KTL. All right, and that show was called The Millionaire Mindset. You can find that in the archive, like I said, under March 27th. Shout out to the Mooney Twins.
Yeah, shout out to the Mooney Twins for bringing forth the whole economic paradigm, you know what I'm saying, the economic platform, and, you know, just bringing information about that millionaire mindset, like I said earlier in the show, that if utilized and applied properly, a lot of people will begin to see their situation change, because the brothers did bring it brought information that you would pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to go to these seminars and these workshops to hear these motivational speaks to get that work. You know what I'm saying? And they came on the show and gave you some fundamentals about, you know, programming your subconscious and basically, you know, just tapping into certain things that the movie and the book, The Secret, was talking about, attracting wealth. You know what I mean? So I want to give those brothers props. And they funny as hell, too. So we were able to talk about getting money, and we laughed at the same time, which is always a good thing, because that helps the magic as well.
Hilarious. Some brothers is hilarious. Shout out to them. We got to get them back on. April 30th. All right, another show that we want to mention, honorable mention, 2012 Cosmic Agenda featuring Cosmo Physician, okay, Ra Ku. This was his debut show on KTL Radio. All right, set that off April 30th. Okay, many shows would follow, but that was the inaugural debut show. Okay, another show that is definitely worth an honorable mention, Minister Enki show. Okay, he came through with the Money Mind State, and that show was on. Okay, my bad. The Cosmic Agenda 2012 was March 30th. Okay, Minister Enki was April 6th. It was a show, then there was a Q&A. That was another one of the 4-hour programs. Shout out to him. Okay. Now,
sure.
Following that was one of the biggest shows of KTL's broadcasting history. This one is going to go down monumentally in history because the brother said he never gave an interview like that in his storied career. We're talking about Dick Gregory, okay, a man who has probably done hundreds upon hundreds of radio interviews, said it out his mouth that he has never done one of that particular magnitude. And this was the first 2012 State of the Union featuring Dick Gregory. He came back for part 2 and outdid himself. Okay? Both of those shows, like powerhouses. You know what I'm saying?
What was like the combination downloads on both of them together?
Something like 20 plus thousand.
Yeah, man, like family that and everybody that helped put that show together. Shout out to yous. And that show right there, you know what I mean, was that was like a turning point, you know what I'm saying? That was like a milestone in the Know the Ledge history, you know what I'm saying? The brother, one of the legends, not just in the conscious community. I'm talking about globally. Yeah, I'm talking about globally, who spans generations. Like my grandfather and all of them rocks with him. You know, people's grandparents rocked to Dick Gregory, you know what I'm saying? And he came on the show at a time, and I know that our memories are very short because we are living in the quickening, and we tend to forget the atmosphere that existed around the time that the brother did come on the show. But I'm here to remind you that the temperature was rising, the tension was very high. This was around the time of the Trayvon Martin. Remember him? Yeah. This was around the time of the whole Trayvon Martin situation, and people around the world, especially quote-unquote Black America, was at its boiling point. And the elder came and brought wisdom, profound wisdom, not just some wise words. He brought profound wisdom, and he brought some therapeutic healing energy that we all were in need of at that time. And he did the proverbial pouring the water on the flames to simmer it out. You know what I mean? And then when he came back the second time with even more wisdom and more, you know, just, it was like a council of elders. And he really helped us mature and move forward in our quest. So I want to say thank you to him and his camp. And once again, to everybody that helped put that show together. You know what I'm saying? That was definitely an eye-opener. And in between that monumental event, we had the pleasure of interviewing not the boss.
Not the boss.
Not Ricky Rose. Hold on. Not Ricky Rose, but the real Rick Ross.
Not the boss, but the boss was boss.
From Pelican Brief. the real Rick Ross. And that was another extremely interesting show because I was preparing myself, and I was really adamant about being, belligerent on that show that night because, I have my qualms about brothers and sisters who participate in the crack game. You know what I'm saying? Just in terms of, where I put them on the totem pole of responsibility in this generation. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking of the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000 babies. Where I put them at in the totem pole of our destruction. You know what I'm saying? Of initiating what is the deaf culture and how I feel that they are basically, in bed with the government, you know what I'm saying, with our oppressors, with the devil and other people. And I'm not being judgmental. If you're out there flipping 8 balls and whatnot, you just gotta live with that. I'm not here to judge you, you know what I'm saying? But I do have a spot, you know what I mean, in a hot place for people like that. You know what I mean? Because I know what it's done. A lot of people are in denial. They don't want to talk about it. They shy away and try to come up with these metaphysical excuses and shit. But I know what it has done to our people. You understand? And I live in a reality. I come from a life where I remember before crack came. A lot of y'all was born into the crack game, so you don't know anything. You don't know an existence that existed before crack, but I do. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some of the horrors that was committed in the name of crack selling. I've seen how it changed people for the worse. So when Rick Ross came on the show, I was like, okay, well, it's time to line this nigga up. Firing squad. But the brother was so sincere and so revealing, you know what I'm saying, and he showed so much growth and understanding as to who he was, that once again, if Malcolm X came on the show and will we talk to him about who he was as Detroit Red, like will we try to belittle him? If Father Allah came on the show, will we talk back? And I'm not putting, no way am I putting Rick Ross in the same light or in the same situation as those monumental giants right there. But we're talking about a brother who has done wrong in his past, and I can look at myself in the mirror and remember where I came from. A brother who has done wrong. Now, his wrongs may be responsible for a whole era of, some shit that just got completely out of hand. But if it wasn't going to be Rick Ross, it would have been anybody. They would have chose somebody to be the scapegoat or the ones that were going to peddle those keys in the hood under that freeway back in the days. But for the brother to come forth and offer some form of redemption, you know what I'm saying, and to admit his wrongs and to put his life on the line and to go against the rapper Rick Ross, who's out there plagiarizing, basically taking his name and, doing whatever the hell he wants to do with it, I had to commend the brother. You know what I'm saying? I actually had to put the gun in the holster, and I didn't want to take shots at him after I listened to the show. And for whatever karma that he has incurred throughout the years and throughout his life, then there's somebody a lot more powerful and omnipotent than me that will handle the brother. You know what I'm saying? That's not it's not what I'm going to do at this point. So that was a good show right there.
Indeed. Indeed. You know what I'm saying? It was enlightening, to say the least.
Say it again?
I said it was enlightening, to say the least. It reminds me of when I was doing street knowledge
and I had the opportunity to interview a lot of rappers, you know what I'm saying? And as I would start asking them what we would deem to be the difficult questions that they openly admit, like, damn, they like, nobody ever asked me that. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what made you deal crack? Or, you know what I'm saying, did you ever think about the repercussions of it? Does anybody in your family smoke? And then they'll start digging deep, and you start seeing a lot of things come out of them that they themselves had to identify and deal with. But nobody ever put them in a place where they have to even dig that deep. So the accountability is none. They don't feel accountable because no one's ever put them
no accountability, yeah.
So,
you know what I'm saying? There's no accountability. So, you know, for the family that's listening to the show, if you may be listening to the show right now and you might be in that street life. You might be about that life. You know what I mean? You might be out there with packs and all of that stuff. All I'm saying is listen to the show. Listen to that's your father right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the nigga who birthed the movement that you a part of right now. You dig what I'm saying? He's a trailblazer of the crack era. So listen to what he has to say to you. Give him that much respect. Because you're listening to the other Rick Ross, so listen to this Rick Ross and hear what the brother has to say. That's all I'm saying. Because he'll tell it to you. He's going to say it better than I can. So, there you go.
If you trapping, feel me, you need to have an exit plan. And that's all I'm saying.
Molly, I'm sweating.
You know, I know that you got your hands on enough trap that you could jump out and do something legit at this particular point. All right? If people is going on, you know, these other sites and making micro investments and then Kickstarter and all of that, you can find something to put your bread in and legitimize your business and extend your lifeline. Okay? So,
indeed.
That being said, we April 24th, we played host to our brother Umar Johnson. He came on the program. It was supposed to be him and the brother Baruti, Malalume Baruti, but he didn't show up. Peace to the elder. Okay. Umar Johnson showed up. He held it down. That program called Nation Building. He will be back in the building early January 2013. I don't have the date set in concrete as of yet. I believe the brother's in Liberia right now, handling his business, but he will be back on the program, okay, bringing the information as only he can, okay?
Indeed.
Now, show right after that, 027. This is a show that I still get feedback on to this particular day. It's just retarded in terms of the downloads that it received. And there has been, you know, it's just a lot of hype and conversation around this topic as is. But this particular show, for some reason, this brother touched a nerve, man. It continues to resonate. Fear of the Black Illuminati featuring A.A. Rashid.
A.A. Rashid. That's one of the highest downloaded shows on Know the Ledge this year. I would say the top 3. And it was just interesting how the show came about. Very last minute, like if it was on a Tuesday at 9 p.m., the show got created at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. And from the first 2 minutes of listening to it, I knew what it was going to be. And the brother has expanded that conversation, I believe, into a 3-part DVD series. He went into Seattle, Washington with it. He went into Los Angeles with it. And I believe he went into Philadelphia as well. So shout out to the brother A.A. Rashid.
AARashid.com. You know what I'm saying? This is the
AARashid.com. Please go and get that
Give
DVD.
yourself a treat. I believe that he has some deals over there. Go over to the brother's site. You know what I'm saying? And cop something.
Yeah, spend something with the brother. You know what I mean? He put together excellent excellent visual presentation dealing with the fear of a black Illuminati, okay, and the origin of what people are running around talking about with the Illuminati, not knowing the history nor the ties that they have with your Moorish ancestors, you know what I'm saying, dating back to the occupation that the Moors and other Africans had in Europe circa 14, 15, 1600s. I mean, so yeah.
Okay. Immediately after that, on May 8th, okay, we had a program called A Spiritual Umbilical Cord featuring Brother Oba. Monumental show. Monumental amount of information that brother brought. You know, he verbalizes unlike anyone else that I've heard his age, telling our ancient African stories, you know what I'm saying, with that New York City jargon, that up-to-date, modernized jargon. So this is a master orator. Check the brother Oba out, Spiritual Umbilical Cords. All right. This brother is a special brother. Okay?
Yes, sir. Shout out to Oba. Legend.
Yeah, shout out to brother Oba, shout out to brother Chris and all of the family. All right? May 11th. Shout out to brother Corey as well. May 11th. May 11th. This might be what started it all, family. The black woman is God and the white man is not the devil. Like, I can remember where I was at when I created the link.
Shit, I remember what I was wearing.
I think that day you got caught in traffic or something. You got to the show late, right? Because I remember I
made the flyer
from Katoya's house, huh?
I made the flyer that night. I was in the building. You made it. I think you made it back in the spot late. You was in Atlanta at that time.
Yeah, I was in the A. Yeah. That might have been the show that started it all. But that still was a blockbuster monumental show here on KTL Radio. The black woman is God and the white man is not the devil, featuring Brother Polite. Okay? Please check it out. That was on what I said. Yeah, May 11th. May 15th. The Art of Ritual featuring Malidoma Some. Okay, now this is very controversial brother off the continent, out of Burkina Faso, I believe. I read his book when I was a lot younger, and it changed my life in terms of, you know, giving me insight into the magical, mythical, spiritual world, okay, of Africa.
Yes.
And prior to me reading that book, these were only things that you would hear if you was reading The Hobbit or, you know, other fantasy-based books, European fantasy-based books, where he was talking about elves and, you know, Keebler elves going through the trees, and they got, you know, all types of craziness, you know what I'm saying? But this brother spoke about the African origins of these things that we are not exposed to on this particular continent. For those of us, you know what I'm saying, that are only exposed to what is deemed, you know, quote-unquote Western society, and the reality, the fictionalized reality that comes along with that stoic plastic shit. So this brother came forth and he dropped some gems, shed some light. You know what I'm saying? That was a monumental episode as well. Check that out. Okay. May 18th. All right. Hollywood Decoded 4.4 featuring KT the Arc Degree. Please do believe that all of that brother's Hollywood Decoded programs are monumental. This one in particular, he really went upstairs. I think that this one was the one dealing with the Avengers, and he totally tore a frame backwards with that program. Check that out in the archive. All right? Especially if you haven't heard his brother do it, he does. You're going to be in the building this Tuesday. You might want to get some back reference. So check out any of those Hollywood Decoded programs. Okay, 525 brought back the Mooney Twins, another monumental program. This is called Money Mindset. Okay, Mooney Twins.
Mm-hmm.
June 5th, Return of the Gods. This was a show that was a precursor to a lecture that was given out in Los Angeles. Okay, shout out to the LA family. Shout out to the West Coast, West Side. I'm riding, y'all. Okay? It's featuring Siddiqui,
No doubt.
Kari, the Mooney Twins, Sister Sierra and Kateria, Professor Griff, and Cyrock, Starseed. I believe
Shout out
it's one
to
day.
Cyrock.
Shout out to Cyrock. Shout out to Soul Messiah.
Starseed. It is her solar return. All right. I believe, is it today?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is today, I believe.
Shout out to Cyrock. Shout out to Soul Messiah. Shout out to God Hop Radio. Shout out to God Hop Music. Everything that y'all over there doing.
For those of you who know me, you will be aware by now that my ambition is unlimited. You know that I will settle for nothing short of greatness. For those of you who do not yet know me, allow me to introduce myself. We are the gods now.
I got here a voice.
Why you mad, folks? Is it 'cause I'm past dope?
That's it. I believe the sisters, Sarah and Katira, are doing something. They have expanded the Return to the Gods franchise, and their next date or the next event will be taking place in Florida coming up very soon. Don't worry, family. We will keep you updated. We are in contact with the family right now about what's coming up in the near future. And I believe that the brother Umar has something in the Florida area as well, January 14th to the 15th. But like I said, we'll get you, as soon as the new year comes in, we'll get you all of that information. But please continue.
Yeah, and the brother Black Dot will be in L.A. January 27th at the Craft Center. Transformation of consciousness through the science of the spoken word and the alchemy of sound. I definitely look forward to being in the building for that. Shout out to the brother Siddiqui Bakari, again, and the rest of the West Coast family. All right? So, we fast forward, June the 15th, there was another program featuring a Rashid and KT the Arc degree. All right. Then immediately after that, another monumental episode, again introducing another light bearer to the community. This was on June 19th. Title of that program was Blood Money, Health and Wealth. It was featuring our big brothers, Destiny Grind, introducing to the world for the very first time Brother Gabriel, Sensei Gabriel, as we know him, okay, out of the ATL. Monumental Minds. Salute to that brother. That program was full of information dealing with trust information, okay, how to establish a living trust for your family, okay. Not trust issues, family, but trusts, wills and trusts, okay? Things of that particular nature. So check that out. That's in the archive. Another monumental show featuring the brother Oba came right after that on the 22nd, called The Power of Ashe, Its Use and Misuse. Okay? Ruffled a whole lot of feathers. You know what I'm saying? I've been hearing Ashe a lot less after that program. So, shout out Oba for bringing some clarity, you know what I'm saying? And, doing the work of his craft and his creed and explaining the certain things were just getting out of control. So, check that program out. June 26th, Prosperity Crusade featuring the Mooney Twins. Okay, we've had the Mooney Twins on several times this calendar year because this is a message that has to be pressed upon the consciousness of the people, almost beat into their head. You know what I'm saying? So these brothers have been diligently at it, bringing forth the information, really, you know, just pressing this issue home. Look, the only reason that you are without is because you're not going within, okay? So you'll notice that all of the majority of their titles dealing with consciousness and mind states and mindsets, okay? You are without because you're not going within. So they have been coming forth, giving the tools to programs oneself so you can get your mind right, money right, ready for war. Okay? 629, to add on to that. All right, this program is called A Change in the Future with Memory, featuring A. Rashid. Another monumental episode that this brother, I believe he helmed the episode. He held down KTL and did that episode on his own, giving monumental information out about how to deal with our minds and how to change future with our minds. Okay, programming the subconscious, erasing, what's hampering us based on these core issues that we have from our youth. So you want to check that out. July 3rd, he's right back in the building. Art, Myth, and Sciences featuring A. Rashid. I believe he had his brother Ashraf on the program. Shout out to the Lighthouse. I see Lighthouse kind of heavy on Facebook. You know what I'm saying?
Heavy on Instagram.
He's heavy on Instagram and Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Lighthouse. He definitely, makes it monumental every time that I swing over there and, see the brother doing what he does best. You know what I'm saying? Giving a whole new meaning to visuals. Like, he really, he's artistic with the pictures. He's a photographer, so he understands that very well.
Indeed.
Okay, July 6th, KT, the Off Degree return with Unlocking the Web of Spider-Man. Monumental breakdown of The Amazing Spider-Man. Okay. Check that out. July the 10th, we opened the platform and brought forth the occultist himself, Azazel, also known to you as Azariah, the occultist oracle. Okay? Blog Talk has never been the same. All right.
Shout out to Majade. Shout out to Azariah, a.k.a. Azazel. Legend. When we get to that Sandy show in September, we're going to talk about how legendary he is. We can move forward.
Yeah, shout out to Majade. All right, shout out to Azazel. July 13th, Magical Mushroom featuring Master Kalindi. Okay, another brother that was brought forth on this episode. Again, and we're not saying that we have, these people debuted and they've never been heard on the audio medium before, or they've never been on Blog Talk or what have you. But we're saying that this is people that we brought forth on Know the Ledge platform to introduce to the family monumental information, life-altering, life-changing. You know what I'm saying? He opened the blinds on my eyes. I was able to see things differently, understanding how the mycelium mat works, you know what I'm saying, and understanding now its connection to our neurons and our neurological pathways, and why mushrooms have such a profound effect on our neurological pathways, because they mimic all of that science. So he just gave me a whole nother appreciation for knowledge, for information dealing with mushrooms. Okay? Check that program out. And the brother is a master martial artist the world over. And he speaks about that connection as well. And I really love the fly I did for that show. So check that brother out.
Hard bite.
You would think I was on one. Anyway.
Was you on one?
I'm always on one.
Papa Molly, I'm sweaty.
Anyway. All right. July 17th. Monumental show. Salute, bro, because you was...
Say that again. Hello? 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 Yeah. Hold on 1 second. We are going to... Alright. Yeah, family. Give us 1 second. A little bit of technical difficulties. But the brother will be in counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's try that again.
Yeah, hello?
There you go. Uh-huh.
You know how Blog Talk used to cut me off all the time at 12:04?
Now it's at 10:54.
Now it's at 10:59, 11 o'clock. My phone drops. All right? Oh. Yeah. Now, I'm still on 2G, right? I ain't afraid to say it. But I'm going to tell you something. There's people that's on 4G and all of that, and I'm speaking to them, and I'll text them or call them and be like, yo, who this? I'm like, it's the Blue Pill. What's good? They like, oh, I lost all my numbers. You know how many times I heard that?
Really?
How smart is your smartphone if it's always losing numbers? You got to back up the backup to have the backup.
Not good. But let's continue though, because we got a few more months to go.
Flapping in the wind. All right, 7:20. Did I get that off before I got cut? 7:17. Art of Verbal Magic featuring Ed Haru.
No, you didn't.
I was talking to myself. Okay, yeah.
Wait, that was...
Yeah, it's a bug, right?
Damn.
Like September or something.
Yeah. That was in the summer?
Yeah, B, that was in the summer. Like, I'll never understand that. Again, family, when we're checking into the archive, we're going into time portals because as we are mentioning these shows, they might just sound like shows to you, but because of how our minds work, when I'm talking about the show, I'm remembering where I was at, what I was wearing, what I ate, what time it was, what I had on. Like, everything comes back.
How I felt.
All of these shows timestamp moments and times. For us especially, I'm sure for the family and the audience, they can attest for when you heard the show, you probably remember what you was going on in your life that day, if something changed, your situation, if something spoke directly to you. So a lot of these shows came at points in my life that I needed to show, just like the audience needed it. Something on the show had to be conveyed to me that I needed to grow or to move forward or to let go. So all of these shows are just bringing me back to certain places where I'm able to not only relive those moments, but see what I learned from those experiences. And some of these shows are out of context in my own mind. I'm like, this show happened after that show? How? Like, it's just bug. I got to sit down afterwards and really take a reassessment of it. But let me run through these. Bonfire Friday, okay, 4.4 took place on July 20th. That show continues to be, like, real heavy in the download column. Almost like 10,000 plus downloads. I still don't get it. But, hey, you know, it broke through the tail, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it was just retarded in the bar column. Please, family, if you want to hear some strong, independent music for everyone that's like, you know, goof on and belly hagging about there's no good music out there, check that show out in the archive, all right? That is July 20th, Mo Fire 4.4. Check that out. 724 and 727. Origins of the Metaphysical Underground, Part 1 and 2. This show was so monumental.
That was a milestone.
This show was so monumental. Okay.
Me and Bomb or something. That was a milestone. That was another defining moment in Know the Ledge history. Please believe, that was definitely a defining moment when we were able to tell the story, you know what I'm saying, and have others come along and tell stories about the origins, family, about the beginnings of this genre that we are all participating right now. Because, I don't know if y'all realize it, but this did not exist 10 years ago in the capacity of the form that it did right now. Yeah, you had Nation of Islam, 5 Percenters, Wahabians, God Bodies, Rastafarians. You had all of these things that existed in the community. Pan-Africanism, Black Power, all of these things have existed, yes. But it was not until the creation of the metaphysical underground, the quote-unquote lecture circuit, all right, it was created in New York City and in Atlanta. Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine. I'm not saying that other brothers and sisters like the Dr. Benz and Clarks and other Ivan Van Sertima and all of the other master teachers who put in work were not relevant in that form. I am not saying that, family. I'm just saying that this what has become a community where all of those organizations that I mentioned earlier have all become under one umbrella, where the Rastas, the Nation, the metaphysic, the occult, the holistic community, everyone exists under one umbrella where we're all eating from the same plate, learning from each other, benefiting off of the information, fact-checking, and going over information and things like that. That family, that dynamic was a result of what was called the metaphysical underground, and it was initiated by
Hello? Yeah, now they cut his phone line. Just give it a second. He's going to call in. We're about to get into this 11:11 meditation anyway, family. Please definitely make this one count tonight under the illumination of this particular moon. All right? Dealing with this Cancer energy. Focus on your relationships. You know what I'm saying? Really create that space in your mind where you can receive the answers necessary that you need to move forward as you move into this new cycle. Some people call it the quote-unquote new year. You already know what my stance is on that. My grandfather raised me to understand that, the new year is dealing with things coming new. The vicissitude of spring, when nature springs forth, is what we consider the new year, okay? And that happens around the end of March. But we understand that this is a fiscal calendar, so we know what we're dealing with. And that is about to, that particular clock is about to reset. Call from 347. Peace.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what happened.
Changing of the guard is still a changing of the cycle. This particular new moon, this particular full moon, part of me, family. All right, this full moon inaugurating this quote-unquote new year, this new cycle. Deal with the relationship, focus on the things that you need to leave behind and that you don't want to take. Okay.
Yes, this is about releasing and letting go.
This weight.
There's weight, the baggage, the extra weight, things of that nature. Like I said, when we began the show, that, without even reading a book or without even reading a page on the internet, I'm able to sit back and truly analyze what 2012, the power of 2012 and what it really truly meant to me. The ending of what world took place in my personal life. And like I said, I'm only speaking for myself. Maybe I can relate to others, I can't speak for anybody else but myself. So you know, a lot of things. I look forward to. Huh?
We got a minute left. So, family, when we come back, we're going to finish running through the list, and then we're going to open up the phone lines to get to the family. Prepare yourself for this meditation. It's 11:11 meditation. Find yourself in a dark place, seat it straight, feet flat to the floor, palms face to the ceiling, index fingers and thumbs touching, forming the pyramid, tip of the tongue touching the roof of the mouth. Deep abdominal breaths, pulling from the stomach, all right? Exhaling through the nose. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. Preferably eyes closed, okay? See you on the other side. Peace.
Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum.
Peace. Ray, you still in lotus position?
Peace, huh? What'd you say?
Are you still in lotus position?
Oh, yeah. My lotus.
Yeah, I do want to say, family, that this show is sponsored by kingscounty.bigcartel.com.
There you go.
I want to be the first to say thank you to the family that has showed love and support to the brother and his monumental designs. Okay, those hoodies are off the hook. If you can, please spell the name for the family so they can, get to the destination.
K-I-N-G, Z as in Zorro. K-O-U-N-T-Y dot Big Cartel, which is spelled BIGCARTEL.com, and that's kingscounty.bigcartel.com. I know that's a lot of typing, but all we got is time. Okay, all right. Thank you. Who's our other sponsor?
The other sponsor is SoGoBiz.com, okay, in conjunction and cooperation with Ocean14Corp.com. I definitely want to send love and light to everyone who has showed love and support. I have received a monumental amount of love and support from the family, and all week I've been sending out packages. Hopefully everything arrives, in its greatest health. And Godspeed. But we do know what's going on with these post offices right now. I wish there was another way. I wish that, some of these organizations would put their resources together and come up with
get a police service
of some sort. You know what I mean? I don't know how the D-Boys had it figured out, and we can get it. They know how to deliver a package swiftly, state to state.
Yeah, they get it going.
They got it going, so they're getting it going. So
They don't got no conscious hoopies.
You see the talent amongst us, but you see what causes it to come to the surface. So I know that it exists. You know what I'm saying? The greatness is in us. It's amongst us. But what will it take to get that shit jump-started?
I'm trying to figure that out for a minute. I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me.
But definitely, family, I want to be the first to say thank you for your support, not only throughout this particular season, but throughout the years. It's been continuous, and I love you for it. You know what I'm saying? And it allows me to continue to do what it is that I'm doing and to increase it, do it at a higher magnitude. So there's many more things that will be coming in the next calendar year. I am about to take a leave of absence because I have to go do some work in another part of the planet, or the part of the world requires my attendance. I'm going to be in the jungle, so there's not too much access to
Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi, internet. I'm going to be available when I can, but when I can't, do understand that I'm doing some monumental works and I'm adding on to the legacy, my family legacy, ultimately the KTL legacy, and ultimately it's going to be something that you can utilize for yourselves for betterment. So.
And I do want to also say that I want to give monumental thanks for the support that the family has showed, especially on the face-to-face level. I do more business in the face-to-face settings, amongst the family at lectures and events than I do online, because I just have
reinstated the website and, I'm back on my digital campaign. But more so, everybody that's been supporting me ever since I revamped the line and came out with the new designs. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to say, thank y'all, because without your support and without, the family, repping Kings County, I wouldn't be compelled to continue it. You know what I'm saying? The damn show wouldn't exist. So from 2005 all the way up to 2013, y'all been there with me. Some of y'all even wearing shirts from 2005. Get your upgrade. You heard? You look crazy. But, I love it, though. You got classics, you know what I'm saying, the vintage stuff. I'm seeing shirts that I damn near forgot that I made. And it means something to me. It means something. And for everybody that's been there supporting and growing with me, you know what I mean, I just want to say thank you. And I have some fire, some crazy designs that are on its way. And, I ain't going to let y'all down. You know what I'm saying? We are going to continue to raise the bar and present the highest quality in clothing and clothier, possible until we get this shit into bespokes. Until we could go Kings County bespoke on y'all. You know what I mean? But, that's what that is. But let's continue, please.
Yes, please. I want to run through this so we get the family on the phone line. It's very important that we do that because your feedback is most important. That is the most important thing. We do have to run through this list to remind ourselves and to inform you as well if you don't know. But the feedback is important. So, immediately after the Metaphysical Underground show on July 31st, we play host of Batman Decoded, featuring KT the Arc Degree, which does stand as the most downloaded show of the season. It actually it out-downloaded Dick Gregory shows put together. It caught on. I don't know what thread they put it on. You know what I'm saying?
Marvel.
They started about it. Yeah. This shit must be on. I ain't familiar with the gaming sites. I gotta help me out. It must be on World of Warcraft. And they chat room. I don't know what it is.
That's on something. Yeah. Wherever that link is at, they downloading that at a feverish pace. And the brother has put up some impressive numbers. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to give props to KT the Arch Degree. When we introduced him and inaugurated him as a third pillar earlier this year, that was one of the main purposes to expand his exposure because, having a younger brother who is such a brilliant student of life, a student of his craft, you know what I'm saying, to have a brother amongst us who is not really visual on the lecture scene, we, sat down and made sure that that was going to change this year. You know what I mean? So KT the Arch Degree, shout out to you. You know what I mean? Continue with your studies. Continue, just being the impressive scientist that you are, because there's never a dull moment when you open your mouth. You know what I mean? And just continue doing what you do. Carve that legacy, brother. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be greater than us. So, keep doing what you do.
Oh, indeed. His greatness is unparalleled. So, August 3rd, we did another program, introduced the world to another luminary, another brother that we have been able to benefit from him shining his light on us, and we chose to share it with the world at this particular time. That show being American History X, featuring Yazoo Bey.
Yes, sir. That right there. Another AT alien. Another diamond in the rough rather, who, you know, when I speak of KT and then you bring up Yazoo, it's almost a similar, I have similar sentiments towards both of those brothers because, you know, the brothers are not very loud and boisterous and outspoken like some of the young teachers, but you better be aware of those brothers that are quiet in the cut, the observant ones. You know what I'm saying? I learned that the hard way. That those brothers are the ones that will bring the pain. You know what I'm saying? Those are the brothers that will come in and really, you know, present information that nobody has ever heard. Now, the brother Yazoo, from the time that we first met in the A, has never ceased to amaze me as well, just with his dedication to upholding his family's legacy, because he has a lineage that is, you know, already proven to be great. You know what I'm saying? And what he's been doing on Facebook in terms of his research, his arduous research, you know what I'm saying? The pictures and the images that he's digging up out of these shallow graves of our ancestors to just shatter any and all myths that many of us, you know, many of the spells that many of our people are under. He's been doing an excellent job with shattering all of the myths. And the show that he came forth with American History X, I'm telling you, family, like, that is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, that's nothing compared to what this brother has in terms of information and knowledge. So, you know, you got to drink from that well right there. But just know that he has an ocean of information awaiting you. You know what I'm saying? And I look forward to the 2013 show that we'll be doing with him.
Indeed. All right. Shout out to that brother, Minister. All right. After that show, Brother Polite returned again with his clock genes and time cells. You know what I'm saying? He expounded upon that in the quote unquote debate that he did. Rasul Seti. You can check out more lengthy information on the clock genes and the time cells via the show that aired August 7th in the archive. Check that out. After that, again, open up the platform, introduce the world for the very first time to another luminary in our community, in our cipher. You know what I'm saying? A brother who has been able to share a lot of wisdom with us that we benefited from. We chose that it was time to share that with the world. We opened the gates, introduce you to our brother C.K. Wakil Bey. Okay? The show was titled How the South Was Lost. Right?
Islam.
Monumental teacher, educator. You know what I'm saying? In the community. Another ATL. Another ATLian. Alien. That brother also will be making a monument to come back in 2013 with some more information. Shout out to him. Okay?
Yeah.
Moving. On August 14th, we inaugurated the 10-year anniversary of Lisa Left Eye Lopez's album titled Supernova, which our brother Casey the Art Degree Ghost wrote about 4 songs on that album. So this was somebody that was very near and dear to his heart. You know what I'm saying? A very, very special person that, you know, he continues to honor with her works and with his works as well. So we have to bring it full circle, and she's part of the family, so we had to do a BIT for her, and we actually played her whole album on the radio. We brought some of her closest compatriots on the program to speak about the process that went into making each song, what the studio was like. KT added, you know what I'm saying, his experiences. Monumental show. Supernova Islam checked in. Check that show out. All right. Right after that, August 17th, A. Rashid came back again. Erase the Negative Memories. Can't get enough of that. Another monumental show. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. The brother, I believe this when he came back from St. Croix to Virgin Islands. You know,
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas, the homeland of our foreparents. You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely bringing things full circle for us as well. We were able to vicariously touch our peoples through his experiences. Check that show out. Okay? August 21st as well as August 28th saw the brother Red Pill laying out the Moors in Antiquity, Part 1 and 2. Shout out to that brother for doing the monumental job on that. Huh?
Yeah. I said that's what's up. That was after I did the visual presentation in Harlem at the National Black Theater 4-part series at the Moorish History and Heritage class. Shout out to all my Wednesday night family, Taj Tariq, Raz Mariah Bey, Mikael, and everybody else, Brother Arnold,
yes,
Africa Bambaataa, and everybody who definitely was monumental in that presentation. Yeah. And that's I got cut off on that show too. Blog Talk was hating. I was going in.
Yeah, he was going hard body. Let me get you.
Doing my research, family. I'm digging up some stuff. I will return in 2013 with some profound information. I wasn't really satisfied with the second show that I did, but I'm gonna definitely come through in 2013 with something profound.
Oh, okay, you on Redemption Road? That's where some of the best work comes out. That's what's up.
Say again?
I say you on Redemption Road?
Yeah, there you go. That's what it's called.
That's where some of the best work come out. You know what I'm saying? It was working for Jason Kidd? Shit. Alright. August 28th, sort of return of the Mooney Twins, the Silver Crusades. They had to come back.
Damn.
Yeah.
They got cut up
They
the
had to
check.
come back, correct some discrepancies dealing with one of the systems that they were promoting. The Feds shut the system down. A lot of people were trying to throw shade on the brothers, you know what I'm saying, as if, you know, they work for the federal government or something. So they had to explain what exactly happened, how the trade and business works, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And as well as provide the family with remedy and recourse.
Was that Zeke Rewards?
Yeah, Zeke Rewards.
It took my money.
Took my money?
It took my money.
And bread with Zeke Rewards.
My bands.
I ain't cash out. My bands was in escrow.
I was waiting to cash out.
Bands out to come out. They took my bands.
and this was culminating to the cruise. This was the build up to the cruise, and they took my bands. God damn it.
Bands. I was saving my bands for the cruise.
Yeah, couldn't take it. Money talk. You ain't got it.
After that, August 31st, right? Ionize or Die, featuring KT the Octagree. Now, anybody who's like a science major, or, you know what I'm saying, you just might be considering getting into science, or you doing your thing in health, you consider yourself a healer, you know what I'm saying, you want to walk down any one of them roads, anything dealing with the body, or if you know somebody who has a particular ailment, hypertension, diabetes, you know, anything that's dealing with sodium levels, salt levels, blood pressure, things of that nature, check out the shows that this brother has done, okay? Monumental information. Ionize or Die. Check that out. It's in the archive, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Please do. After that, 9/14, Female Economic Empowerment featuring Brother Coombs. Is that how you pronounce the name? Is it Coombs or Combs? Brother Chewy.
Brother what?
Brother Chewy. Brother Combs.
Chewy Combs.
Chewy Combs.
Chewy. Yeah. Brother's an author.
Like how he delivered that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Chewy Combs. Shout out to him. Another legend. Okay, another legend was introduced to the family very first time, KTL Radio. You know what I'm saying? An inductee, KTL University. Okay. The script is getting kind of familiar. All right, 9/7, September 7th, House of Consciousness featuring Shanetta. And
was that for the anniversary?
That was leading up to the anniversary. That was that Friday night. It was kind of a rambunctious Friday night. I remember that night. I was at the Sweat House. I was trying to get in on the line. I had like 4 revelations I wanted to share with the family. But I was listening to yeah. He was holding.
He was at the Sweat House?
I was in the Sweat Lodge, yeah.
Whoa. That was a good show.
I got 3 visits from the Angel Gabrielle. I had information I wanted to relay.
You mean the one that blows the trumpet?
Yeah, I couldn't get in. But I heard some things, you know. I was listening on the program. It was monumental. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sign that up?
Yeah.
Right after that program on 9/11, okay? Now, I ain't going to blow the trumpet too hard because they're still looking for,
a scapegoat.
Yeah, they're still looking for a scapegoat. They're still trying to hang that.
They completely solved it yet.
But I will say this. Okay, the 9/11 show was called 9/11, A Catalyst for Consciousness, featuring Taj Tariq Bey. Anybody who wants some insight into the metaphysics of sound and where real true power lies, then you need to listen to that show. And you will make the conclusion for yourself, because I'm not going to make it for you.
Or prophecy. Let's talk about that. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about the power of the prophet. How you could do a show and affect the and hang the finish the show and turn the TV on and see across the ocean, across the world, that show has basically been the precursor to world events. I can't get too much in detail with it right now because, I want them boys. I can't speak on that show without making honorable mention of the fact that Sister Dorothy Muhammad opened up as well. She peeled certain things back and exposed it, saying that he came through and it was a lot easier for him, to put his foot through that wall, that illusionary wall that they had up. And that illusionary wall that he was able to kick through connected time. It warped time. And we understand that 9/11 was 7/11. Okay, remember that sept? And we know I started 7/11. We know what the players were, and we know what we was talking about. So, brother just utilized the science and the magic that was taking place on the platform that night to create some sort of vortex. And check it out yourself. All right?
Indeed. Shout out to Taj.
Shout out to Taj. Shout out to Dorothy. Okay. 9/14. After that Friday, Death to the Hip Hop Illuminati, featuring Professor Griff and the Black Dot.
Legends.
I think I'm going to start a radio show called Illuminati. You know how many downloads and shit we get?
I know, right?
Yeah, they go ham on the downloads, but you put Illuminati in the title. You know what I'm saying? But those two brothers, are luminaries on their own. Professor Griff, Black Dot. I recommend it. Every program that they're on, any appearance that they make, needs to be downloaded and studied and listened to because they're legends. We all know this. Okay?
Oh, that's the show where we got into Chief Keef and everything. Oh yeah. That was a monumental show right there. That show was extra.
Yes. Okay. Right after that, which was 9/18, we did a House United, House of Consciousness recap. A very, very important show. Okay. Very important show because that show exemplified unity.
Yes, it did. For the 2 weeks that it existed. That show.
Yes.
Showed the family. That is a time-stamp show, stamped in time, about potential and listen to our voices and listen to how optimistic and exuberant we were. You know what I mean? After coming out of that anniversary event with our brother Booker T, Polite, Taj, Tahuti, who else? Abundance, Roz,
Azariah, Majay,
Azazil, Majay,
Red and Blue.
Yeah, I mean, there was so many.
Yeah, that was
so many. Polite. Did I mention them?
You said Polite.
There were so many people.
Unity. It was alive and vibrant in the building, and it's so much more stronger than disunity. You know what I'm saying? Like the vibes was stupid high in the building for that. So shout out to everybody that participated. All right. Now, after that show, we went on a hiatus because KTL went on a cruise. Okay, KTL cruise to the pyramids took place.
It was after that show?
Yeah, according to the
Hold on. You know I gotta go on my bag, but go ahead.
Okay, there was one more show right before that. There was a health, power, and technology show with Minister Inky. You know what I'm saying? That was the show. And then we missed, for the very first time, this would be the first time in our broadcast history that we have ever not broadcasted an episode. And that was on September 25th, 2012. Exactly 3 months ago from when we missed our second broadcast, which was December 25th, 2012. Okay? So we were on the high seas on our way to the Cayman Islands. Of course, we couldn't broadcast. I wasn't paying $100 on the... They couldn't guarantee us...
Yeah, and it would have been choppy.
It couldn't guarantee us a good connection anyway, even if we did put the bread up, because I did want to speak to the family. You know what I'm saying? It was like $20 for 10 minutes or something. Like, it was crazy, and they couldn't guarantee a good connection. So we had to let that one go. Plus, we were hosting festivities on the boat, doing things with the family. Shout out to everybody who participated in that wonderful situation right there. Go in your bag. Yeah, you go in your bag.
I wanted to say...
Yeah, we came back and we rebroadcasted, and the very first show that we started after that particular cycle was on September 28th, okay, and that was the KTL cruise to Cayman, or to the Pyramids recap.
Now, like I said when the show began, that this year has been about relationships, right?
Yes, you did.
Friendships, relationships, things of that nature. Now, prior to the cruise and prior to the excursion that we went on, I wasn't sure what to expect. Once again, I mean, you know personally that I wasn't sure about what was going to happen because of the simple fact that I've never been to Mexico. Niggas was getting beheaded. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I just don't know. I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't know. You know? Just couldn't tell you. But I never anticipated the level of blissfulness and love, you know what I'm saying, that I felt on that cruise. You know what I mean? Just personally speaking, it just was historic for me. You know what I'm saying? It was monumental. I got a chance to bond with a sister that I was building with, that I was, that I met a month prior to the cruise, Sister Nubia Peacock. And, she was my guest, and we had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. She definitely came at the right time in my life, you know what I'm saying? Once again, back to what I was saying, that, the ancestors was there at a time when I really needed, you know what I mean? I was going through a healing process, and I just needed, you know what I'm saying, somebody to be there with me, you know what I mean? Somebody to, just walk with me, you know what I mean? And they sent the sister, and, just that my life has been about that ever since, you know what I mean? And then we came back from the cruise, and, everything was good. And it was almost as if, for me speaking, just for this year, 2012, when I look back at the first show and see where I was at mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and then when I look at myself after the cruise, it was almost like an ADBC kind of thing. Like, I came back from the cruise a changed person because I saw things differently. You know what I mean? Those 5 days really did a lot. Just in terms of, whether the prosperity, between the prosperity ritual, just between, being on the cruise with the KTL family and seeing the impact of the show, because like I said, it wasn't people that we know. It wasn't like people from New York or ATL that we like kick it with, that, that we break bread with and stuff like that. These were all new faces. You dig? I was like, thanks for that. And it just showed the impact of, like I said, I always try to go back to that moment, those times, because, I hold that dear to me. Because, when you go back to the Matrix and to the world, you can't really, you almost forget, especially the climate in New York right now, post-debate, and all kind of craziness is going on. Like, I can't even, I have to remind myself of those, you know what I mean? Like, that shit feels like it was a year ago. And it was only a few months ago. It feels so distant because so much has changed ever since. There were snakes on the cruise, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, people who I trusted and I thought were in my best interest, one of my biggest well-wishers in my relationship, you know what I mean? She turned out to be one of the biggest snakes. Tried to destroy my whole, my relationship for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So, I can't even look at it the same anymore. But I look back at those times as more pure, pristine, good times. Because we had a wonderful, wonderful experience. It showed me what a community could truly be like if we were really real with ourselves. If we was, you know what I mean? Like, if behind the smirks and the grins and whatnot. Huh?
We was about that life.
We was about that life. You know what I mean? And like I said, it wasn't hard, family. All we did was come together. We didn't have our phones and our computers. We were basically face-to-face with each other with some activities, such as going places like to the beach, just getting back in touch with nature, because none of those places were outside of nature. We went to the pyramids. That's Aboriginal and indigenous. We walked, you know what I mean? We went to Cayman Islands, to the beach, and did our ritual. you know, we just kept it very simple. We didn't need much. Those little cars that had money on it came in handy when you was trying to get hammered at the bar. But other than that, you know, we didn't need too much. And the love was there. You know what I'm saying? The love was there. Everybody had little issues that we were all working out amongst ourselves as a family, but the love was still there. You know what I'm saying? And it gave me a glimpse of what it is that we're doing as you know, trailblazers and, you know, the ones who are trying to build up a network into a community, what it would look like. You know what I mean? And it really gave me a lot of outlook, positive outlook into the future. That's why immediately following after that, when I received all the, you know, when all of the snakes started popping up and all of the crazy shit started happening, I could absorb it because I wouldn't let that deter me. I didn't even embarrass the system, put a name out there because of the simple fact that I don't want to ruin everyone's experience who came on a cruise. I don't want them looking at her like she's crazy the way that I'm looking at her. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just want to give a shout out to my wife. Tell her thank you for coming into my life when she did and being there. You know what I'm saying? Coming or moving to New York with me, holding it down. And, you know, just making this year, like I said, just 2012, about the most, you know, rudimentary but the most important things, which is relationship. I wasn't out there in space. You know what I mean? I wasn't lost in other worlds. I was very well grounded into the real world. That shit was in my face every day. You know, so.
Yeah, no, we're not going to name no names, you know what I'm saying, because I guess that's not what it's about. But I'm not going to let this year finish out or this episode for that particular matter without putting things in our past. And there's a ceremonial way that we do that on KTL. So with that being said, once I do this, we're not going to go back no more because you can't get it. You know what I'm saying, where it's going at this particular point. Because once we... Once you flush it, that's it. They don't get it back. It's gone.
Yeah.
You want to do the breaststroke and the sewer to go and look for it, that's your business. But once it's flushed, it's done. So, you know, that's what it's about. And I see that, you know, the way it happens in this community, the snakes go and they lay up with rats or what have you. So I see a lot of that cuddling going on right now. But all of that will come out. You know what I'm saying? The snakes can start biting the rats and the rats can start biting the snakes. That's my 2013 predictions.
Yeah. So let's continue, though, because we're almost wrapping this up, because I want to get to the callers.
On October 2nd, we brought back the brother Morpheus, a.k.a. Hakeem Bey, and he introduced to the family or set up the return from Matrix 5, okay, which he culminated last week, December 21st, 2012, right here on KTL Radio. He introduced it on October 2nd. Okay, on KTL Radio. On October 5th, Saturnian Strategies featuring Brother Ra Akul and our brother Seth L. Now, for me, this show was monumental. Okay? Because I was also going through some monumental changes in my life, and Saturn was coming into my house, you know what I'm saying, my sign of Scorpio at this particular time, and it was making some very real impacts, you know, in my life. And I had to establish some sort of understanding about what was about to take place in order to deal with it. So I wouldn't be pulling my hair out and going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So the brother was able to come forward and give not only me, other people who are experiencing these changes as well, a heads up so they can plan properly what was about to take place. And Saturn deals with discipline. Saturn deals with responsibility. Saturn deals with parenting and fatherhood. You know what I'm saying? Saturn deals with things being restricted. You know what I'm saying? Slowing things up. Restriction and all of those particular things. So a lot of things just started taking place in my life, and I needed a certain level of context to put them in. So I wouldn't be running around thinking somebody was putting the juju on me or something. I mean, and that leads people in this community to go to these charlatans and start spilling beans, and then these charlatans start utilizing you for all sorts of purposes. These people who are broken in their spirit and incomplete in their purpose and their being, they want what you have, and they'll use anything to get it, including these dark magics, the dark arts. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of BS going on in this community, and I could pray it away and say I hope that we go into 2013 and those things won't be there. But, you know better than that. You got to cut the head off a snake for a snake to die. So leave it at that. All right? And shout out, the brother Seth L. came forth with a monumental dissertation as well. We opened up the gates, introduced the brother, you know what I'm saying, to the platform.
Yeah, shout out to the brother Seth L. I was highly impressed by that show that he did.
Talking about, top-down approach to things, dealing with things from a mental standpoint instead of always focusing on the physical. All right? So that brother, he eventually came back, did a show all to himself where he really got to expound and go in. Because that particular Saturnian strategy show, the brother Raku really did his thing on that show as he was supposed to, because the information needed to be heard then and there. Okay, October 9th, the Remedy Renaissance featuring Supernova Slum. We hadn't heard from the brother in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Brother came forward on the platform, laid it out, let the family know what was going on, what he was partaking in at this particular time, as well as he was able to definitely lend some powerful healing words. All right, we needed to hear from the brother. He came forward. The next show, which was October 12th. People lie, but DNA doesn't. All right, another blockbuster from Brother Polite. I ain't got to tell you, all the Polite shows are stupid on the downloads. You know what I'm saying? Something retarded. All right, the brother came forward with that monumental presentation. Shout out to Polite. Shout out to New Covenant. Okay, right after that, October 16th, like I said, we got the brother Seth L to come back and do an entire program, Detoxify Your Mind, and the rest will follow. Legendary show. You're talking about like the high sciences, but not highbrow. Something that you could sit down with your granny and she could do the knowledge to it. Like, okay, I understand that. That's that old time wisdom. You know what I'm saying?
Let the family know about calling in before 12.
Oh, yeah, family. So we're still going. We're going to go past the 12 o'clock mark. Please call it 347-637-2135. That is 347-637-2135. We still want to hear from the family. We will open a line as soon as we finish running through these shows. All right. Hopefully, which will be. All right, so let me keep pushing forward. Family. Right after we open up the program for Seth L to come in, we opened up the platform and brought in another monumental giant in our community on the program for the very first time. Brother Commit to You. This program is called The World According to Commit to You. Bay. Like we have in the download column as well, because everyone that knows Commit to You and his work knows that this brother is standing on his square with a monumental sharp sword. Okay? He's doing the work, and he's getting the results of his work. People people that know him can attest to that. All right, the show was no different. He went in, he did his thing. I just want to reiterate, these shows are free, family. Okay? This is what you are getting for free. You can go to these platforms like KTL Archive and access this information for free. These are lectures, audio lectures. All right? I remember back in the day when me and my partner used to ride around. We used to have Farrakhan tapes in the whip. We used to have Malcolm speeches on them. You know what I'm saying? But we had to cop those. You wasn't getting them for free. There was no way, no how. Like, how could you get those for free? Unless you had a friend who had a friend who had a friend who dubbed them joints. So you still had to buy a TDK. You still had to shell out some sort of bread. You know what I'm saying? There was still some exchange of currency. We still understood that there was no way that you could get it for free unless you boosted it from somebody, and there's still a debt attached to that. So here you got Blog Talk Radio, Know the Ledge Radio, 3-4 hours, non-stop. You could virtually have a 24-hour marathon in the archive for free. That shit is unheard of. You know what I'm saying? And I'm almost embarrassed to say that it's accessible and you could do that, because that's not what's up. But I'm going to let you balance it out as you see fit. Like I said, KTLmedia.com is where you can make your contributions to keep programs like this moving forward, okay? Or if you feel that you want to contribute to something that has benefited you immensely, make the contribution. It's at the end of the year. Write it off. Do what you feel is necessary. But remember, when you don't put back from that which you took from, there's nothing left. So when you utilize and use everything up and there's nothing there no more, you did that to yourself. So let's keep the energy reciprocated, because it's a cycle. You got to keep the cycle moving forward, right? So right after that, we brought forth Ashra Kwesi and his wife, his beautiful wife. Okay, they did from the Ancient Society of Science. That was October 23rd, right? Monumental. Immediately after that, 12/26, KTL Radio presents How to Write Your Own Bible featuring A.A. Rashid. Yes, another A.A. Rashid show. Okay? So you already know I got to tell you, he's the unofficial co-host of KTL Radio if you don't get it by now. All right? October 30th. All right, the day after Hurricane Sandy. Another one of these last-minute shows, scratching our heads. Damn, well, who can we bring forth that's going to make sense of this? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's running around. I'm getting texts, people trying to blame me for Hurricane Sandy. Shit was getting crazy. It was getting crazy. Like, it absolutely was getting crazy out here. You feel me? So, you know, I went forward and tapped into the crevices of my mind, what have you. I was like, okay, Brother Azariah, like, that's the spirit that we need to hear from. And I was being moved by spirit, you know what I'm saying? Because I went to a state of meditation. And we hollered at the brother. He was just waiting. He came forth fully prepared. Because we talking about, we hollered at him like 8:30, and the show was 9 p.m. But you would think that he was sitting around preparing all day, because in so many ways he was. That's how spiritual these programs are. People don't even know when they're going to get the call, but they prepared. All right? So the brother came forward. The show is called Hurricanes, Halloweens, and Harp, featuring Azariah, okay, also known as Azazel. He went all the way in. All right? Not only laid it out, but, you know, put down many,
made some prophetic predictions.
Right? Put forward his prophetic predictions on this program.
He said it's going to be warm in New York. throughout the winter. It was 50 degrees the other day. You know what I mean? We haven't really had a cold. I'm not even going to speak about it because I don't want no cold week. But it's been warm in New York.
Oh,
and then he said something about a demonic spirit. You know what I mean? Or a spirit coming into the tri-state area. And I don't know. You tell me. What was the biggest massacre on USA soil that took place this year? Was right there in Connecticut. You know what I mean? With the Sandy Hook school shooting. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, you tell me. Go listen to the show, absorb it, and let me know how on point this brother was with his. And that's just two things that I'm pointing out. The brother was definitely going in his bag and hitting a lot of shots. So, shout out to the brother once again. Continue doing the monumental work that you're doing, brother. You know what I mean?
Right, for what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? Definitely check that out, family. All right, next episode was November 2nd. Okay, KTL Radio presents the 2012 Shift, The Ancient Future, featuring our brother Baba Nu. Shout out to Baba Nu. All right, Baba. Shout out to Baba Nu. Shout out to Turtle Gang. The brother went in on that episode. Next episode, right, on the night of election night. Okay, another monumental prediction that was brought forth utilizing the science of cosmology, not freestyling. Cosmophysics of Barack Obama, featuring our brother Rod Koo. Another program that pretty much went down, I don't want to say last minute, but maybe like 6, 7 p.m. on election night. I put the call out. The brother was ready. You know what I'm saying? He was already in the bunker. He was ready. He had the tools sharpened. He showed up and did his thing. Okay? Utilized what was available to him at that time to call the election before it went down. You know what I'm saying? And based on the markers that he was using, he was right on point. As we know, Barack Obama is still the 44th president. All right?
Mm-hmm.
After that, we had to give some, right after that was Delbert Blair. Delbert Blair in the Mayan 2012 prophecies. He came through, did the damn thing, heavy duty on the download, of course. You know what I'm saying? As only Delbert could do, prepping and preparing himself for a lecture that he was about to do in Brooklyn that the Red Pill opened up for. Shout out to Dr. Delbert Blair. Okay? 11/13 on the eclipse, the day before our birthday, I came forth with a program called Behold, the Law 44, featuring Blue Pill. All right? Did my thing on that particular program as well. Laid some prophecies out, and let some things out, you know what I'm saying, that pretty much would have helped make sense on the next chain of events, because the next day Israel went to war on our born day, and it was called Operation Pillars and all of this and all of that, but, I don't know what we be talking about. We just freestyling.
Yeah, well, just freestyling.
Just freestyling. Just hitting layups. Just freestyling. All right.
Yeah,
for the next program, 11/16, we presented Disaster Readiness featuring Aton Edwards. Now, this was this is one of them shows, that it was like getting a talk from your father when, you know what I'm saying, you away at school and you acting up, and your pops come to the school and see you in front of everybody, just chin checking you like work. You know what I'm saying? The brother is someone that I consider to be a very serious contributor to our community just based on his service and his dedication. You know what I'm saying? And the level that it takes for one to prepare themselves, not only physically, but mentally for this kind of work. So the brother was present in many of the forgotten zones that were hit during the hurricane in New York. You know what I'm saying? In particular, we're talking Red Hook, Coney Island, Far Rock, you know, those particular areas, the hood. You know what I'm saying? The places that we forgot. He was on the front line, and he brought back that front line testimony. It was raw. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to check that show out as well. Right, hear some real talk from the family. November 20th, Our Matrix Technology, the Gods featuring Destiny Grind. I ain't got to tell you, that's the big bro. You know what I'm saying? He came through and did the damn thing. So only Destiny Grind can. Again, that's like hearing from the voice of God. You know what I'm saying? He has that resonance that you can't help but just listen and pay attention. Check that show out, November 23rd. Prelude to the Great Debate, featuring Brother Polite, Ara Sutin City. Okay? Monumental show, archived classic. Nothing more to be said about that. You already know what it is. If you don't, you can go check the show out for yourself. All right? Excellent show, might I add. Immediately after that, Hidden Colors 2 / The Agenda 2013 with Tariq Nasheed and Lord Strayhorn. All right, Tariq Nasheed, the director of Hidden Colors 2, you know, pretty much spoke about what has motivated him to make these monumental contributions, what it takes to break into Hollywood. Lord Strayhorn talked about 2013 and, you know, the energy that he sees is coming forth by way of the way that he's able to deduce the numbers. This was also the program that the brother Ra Akul called in and made a prediction, again, based on him tracing the energy of the cosmos, that there will be a massacre dealing with children of kindergarten age. Okay? That prediction can be heard. That show is stupid high in the downloads, so I'm definitely seeing that people are checking that out. Again, that can be accessed from the November 27th show. That's Hidden Colors 2 / Agenda 2013. All right. November 30th, Cause for Celebration featuring Booker T. Coleman and friends. Okay. Monumental show as well. Booker T. Coleman, who's a legend. All right. December 4th, The Quantum Mind State featuring Minister Inky. See, like, that shit don't feel like that was in December. Damn.
Wow.
That felt like it was in November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. December 7th, all right, KTL Radio presents The Evening with a Master featuring Dr. Valentine. All right, real stupid on the downloads as well. December 11th, Advanced and Ancient and Advanced Techniques for Wealth Consciousness Within, featuring William Mayweather. Okay, a wonderful, beautiful brother that we got to meet on the KTL cruise, who made a wonderful contribution to the consciousness of humanity with his book Plethora. Check that out on Amazon. If you need to know more about it, make sure that you go into the archives and check the episode out. Ancient and Advanced Techniques for Wealth Consciousness Within. December 14th, The Healing Circle featuring Annette Thomas, Makiba Judge, and more. I believe Empress Jamila. This was the precursor to the monumental, silly lecture that was given in Brooklyn featuring Mama Pill, Annette Thomas, Makiba Judge, and others. Okay? Definitely check that out in the archive. Monumental. December 18th. Okay? Post-debate analysis. Pros and cons. Featuring Brother Polite. Alright?
Talk about it.
No, I ain't gonna talk about it.
Huh? I'm good. I said I'm good.
We spoke about it. I want to revisit that. December 21st, which was last week Friday, okay, the last program that we aired was the Chronology of Time Debunk featuring our brother Ra Aku and Hakeem Bey. Okay, family, and that culminates the broadcast season of 2012 for KTL Radio.
For the shows that we didn't mention, family, it is nothing personal. We apologize. Like I said, we were just going through most of the top shows. There are hundreds of 100-plus shows. Couldn't get to each and every single one that took place. But like I said, there are some KTL audience members that have been on every single show with us. You know what I mean? I want to first and foremost say, we want to give ultimate thanks to you. You know what I'm saying? We may even need to send y'all something in the form of a gift just for being there with us. But I'm assuming that these shows are therapeutic for you and they're doing something for you in terms of the information, and that you're utilizing whatever you need to utilize to help you in your journey. So just continue to ride with us. And once again, just thank you for being there every Tuesday and Friday, religiously.
Oh, for sure. All right. So with no further ado, family, I want to go to the phone lines and, let the family build. All right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me go to caller. Well, let me go to Amenti first, because I told her I definitely would get in on the call. So, caller from Skype, Amenti Astrology. Peace.
Peace. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Peace.
Good, peace. I just want to say to y'all, the one thing I appreciate about y'all is, y'all have always been real. I can say that whatever, I've known y'all before the show and everything. And I can say that when I met y'all, besides just with the personality online and offline, it's always been real. I haven't got anything phony. I haven't got another person, you know what I'm saying, someone who want to be shallow and not speak, And I appreciate that. I don't even think y'all know. I've known y'all since I was 19, 20 years old. I'm 28 now. That's a long time. So I want to say, I appreciate that about y'all, and I see the growth, and y'all definitely inspiring, and I like that about y'all. One question I wanted to ask you is, what did you do in your time? Have you ever had a time, and this is to the both of y'all, that you wanted to give up, and what did you do to pull yourself out of that in that moment?
Wait, your phone was breaking up. Can you repeat that again, please?
I said, this is a question to the both of you. Have you both ever had a time that you wanted to give up? And if you did, what did you do to get out of that?
And the times that we wanted to give up?
Yeah.
The show?
No. Just in anything, the show, your business, anything. Have you ever had a time when you wanted to give up, and what did you do to get out of that?
You want to go, Blue?
Yeah, I'll go first. Well, the times about giving up with this show, it happens at 50 p.m.
Oh, no.
That's happened so many times.
You can speak for yourself. I would say a few times. Even if I entertain it and said something about it, I know in my heart of hearts that I would never give up on the show. What I do when I feel like I might want to give up on the show, I program a new show and open up by saying, peace to you and yours. This is Know the Ledge Radio. You and I rocking with the best, and I just let it flow from there. And about 20 minutes into the show, that feeling has totally evaporated and it's gone. So the program is therapeutic, but it's not enough to just sit there and look at the archives. This is Know the Ledge, but it's the action of it. Like, I got to be, you know what I'm saying? I got to be doing it. So these shows keep me alive. just like they keep everyone else alive. I literally don't know what I would do without these shows. And I don't know if I would be here the same person. I might have wigged out by now. So
yeah. There was a period in time that, if the family is familiar, like listening to the archives, I would be like, yo, I need to take a vacation. I think this may be my last show. I need a break. Like, at that point, I was in Atlanta, and, you know, I think I was at my lowest that I've been in like many, many years. Everything was going wrong, you know what I'm saying? Everything was coming down on me. And I didn't want to do the show because I didn't want to project that. Yeah, I didn't want to project that energy to the family. You know what I mean? Like, I was feeling like I couldn't really, I didn't have anything positive to contribute in terms of frequencies and energy, so I just wanted to remove myself. And there would be shows that the guests would come on, and, like, you know, I would just go silent. It would be shows that I didn't even say anything. I would probably open up and say something for 5 minutes and just sit there with my phone on mute, because the guests would just, you know, deliver so much therapy to me and speak directly to what the issue was, that I was like, yo, I can't give this shit up. Like, I can't turn my back on this, because if I'm the host and I'm going through some real shit, imagine what the listeners are going through. Imagine what somebody who could benefit off of the show is going through right now, because I know that it's not an isolated incident. You feel what I'm saying? So we toughed it out, man. Like, in the beginning, when we first was doing the show, and we didn't, like, when we started in 2009, and we didn't even know that it was going to be Tuesday and Friday. We didn't know what was going to come out of it. We had the Smurfs trying to get at us, talking about, you know, we was trying to copy their show and all kinds of dumbness. I mean, it was retarded, like Crank calling us and all of that. And I was like, at some point, we began getting discouraged, because we, you know, we didn't know what we were doing with this. You know what I'm saying? We know it felt good. We know that people were listening, but we were like, it would be some days where I was like, I don't want to do this shit. Like, I got other things that I want to do. But it took discipline, and it took perseverance, and a lot of sacrifice, yo. I'm talking about a lot of sacrifice. I'm talking about, you know, family-wise, you know what I'm saying? Family-wise sacrifice. And that's really, you know what I mean? That's what worked it out. And that's why I was saying, when it came time to go on the cruise, and I got to personally see the impact for 5 days straight, not at a lecture for 10 minutes when you see a person during a break and they want to talk to you about the show, but you really trying to sell something, and you're like, all right, good looking, I appreciate that. You want to buy something? Like, no, not 5 days straight. Like, just being with them every day, that had an impact on me, because it really showed me in the real world that what we are doing is helping, and it has an impact. So, you know, just look at the bigger picture. I just look at the bigger picture. You know what I mean? I look at the movement. I look at it as being much bigger than me and him personally. You know what I'm saying? And I look at where I came from, because we didn't come from a good place. And we don't say that to sound, you know, like we from the streets and all of that. We don't say that to sound. And people are like, you know, their father, they used to grow up around Dr. Sabi, and their mother she cured AIDS. And I'm like, that shit don't have nothing to do with where we were at in our life. I don't know if people realize, like, that has nothing to do with the decisions that we were making as teenagers and young adults that was putting us in jail and all kind of other stuff, and putting us near death a lot of times. So I know where I came from. You know what I mean? I know where I could go back into. I know how close I was falling back into that world a year ago, when I was in Atlanta, stranded, you know what I'm saying, with no support, nothing. Like, I know how close I got into falling back into that world. So, you know, it's things like that help keep me grounded.
Well, yeah, let me say, you know, when you asked about, you know, you said about the radio, then you said about the personal aspect of things, about giving. And what I would say is that I do use Sadie and my mother as a template when I'm going through things in my life that's somewhat difficult. And I'm like, damn, I'm going through it. I would just bring them up in my mind, this mother and Sadie, and what they went through and the odds that they must have been against when they was crusading in this city to save people from themselves. And when they was riding on the soy eaters, and they was riding on the people that was drinking carrot juice, and you know what I'm saying? It might seem very simple and mundane right now, but you're talking about industries back then. And if you think the people is catty in this community, you got to understand that they was taking people's economic, you know, people that what it was doing. You know, they came and they changed an entire paradigm. Kind of odd. Then they had to go up against the government. They had to go against, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Charlie and them. You feel me? The federal government came down on them, and they still stood toe-to-toe, back-to-back, and they defeated them. And that legacy...
This one, it wasn't cool to be healthy or confident. Like, it wasn't trendy back then. They people were laughing at you.
Yeah, like, that was the equivalent to being square. Like, super square. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was into eating broccoli. That's not where it was at. You feel me? That shit wasn't sanctioned in nobody's party, so...
They wasn't Instagramming their kale salad back then.
Nobody was Instagramming their kale salad. This was not happening. You know what I'm saying? So, when I think about all of that, you know, that definitely gives me the motivation to keep it moving and to brush my shoulders off. And, yeah, you know, I'll never waver.
And also, my son, too. I want to just add that. I look at my son, and you know, I just look at him. You know what I'm saying? I just look, and that like, just looking at him speaks to me. It lets me know that there's no way I can't go anywhere but forward. So, I thank you for that question. That was a real question right there. And like I said, I want to thank you for being real. You being real. You being consistent. You showing growth. You feel me? You sticking around and hanging on to this thing, because how many people have come and went?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And acting like the damn community owed them something, like they were walking into a fucking church or a monastery or something. The minute they see some kind of ratchetness, or the minute they see something that they don't think is, you know, puritanical, they want to go back into being ratchet and unpuritanical. Like, it behooves me that the shit that I see happening with people, then you go, you know, you bump into them and they bands that make them dance like they doing dumb shit now. You know what I'm saying? Or they selling themselves. I mean, I can't get into the kind of situations that I've seen certain people who were on the path. You know what I mean? And jumped off of the path. I don't know for what reason, and fell all the way back down the damn ladder, and now they crawling and shit in the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Can I say something really quick to that? I was building with I was talking to my spirit, and one thing is I had my situations in the community, but I had to forgive myself and understand that I was in a vulnerable place in my life. So, you know, when you're vulnerable, you want to attract some crazy situations because you're not aware. So I forgave myself, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to sit here and talk about and expose these people, because I'm only going to expose myself, because it's not their fault. It's all back on me. It's my spiritual journey. So that's what kept me going. As you know, I'm a mother and a wife and all that too, so that's a part of it as well, because it's for them. But it's like, I can't blame those people for me being a blonde. You know, that's not their fault. That's me. So
it made you stronger off of the experience, the lesson that you ultimately learned from the experience. Did it not make you a stronger person?
Yes, it did. And I laugh about it now.
More astute. Yeah, it made you more astute, and it took away what do they call that? The naiveness, the naivety out of the whole situation. You can't come into this community. You can't come into any community or network naive about anything. Family,
please understand when I tell you, this is not what you think it is. You dig what I'm saying? I always tell people, if you was on your P's and Q's in the streets, you better be on your R and S's in this mall right here, because this shit is another level. It's a higher level of what you was dealing with. This is not, there ain't nothing sweet going on in here. This is this is spiritual warfare. This is all kind of shit. You have no idea of what you're dealing with when you step into this world right here. And it's not spooky like that, but it is a world like all worlds exist. You're going to have your dark worlds. You're going to have your light and your dark. You're going to have people that's going to be tricksters, charlatans. They're going to play games. They're going to come. The devil is going to come, as a handsome or a beautiful person. Like they say that the devil is. It's going to come in all kind of sheep's clothing and all of that. Be prepared. Have your glasses on. You know what I'm saying? Listen to the shows. Understand the information. Prepare yourself. Arm yourself. You know what I mean? And when you spot what you may see as somebody who is not sincere or who doesn't have you in their best interest, because as much as you may see the negative, you're going to see triple the positive, quadruple the positive. It's some shit out there, but it's so much other stuff that's better than that you could, like you said, ultimately laugh at it when but this conscious community is here to teach people lessons. That's all I'm getting out of it. This shit is a big school, and people are going to learn lessons one way and another. You signed up for this shit. This is lesson time, and this is not Fantasy Island. This is, what I'm saying? I get people to come into the community and they see the roughness of it, or they see they see how challenging the shit is, and they get all Christian on me, and I'm like, yo, fall back. Like, what did you think this was? This is real right here. This shit is preparing you for war. If you can't handle this, you can't handle what's coming next. So, woe unto them. You know what I mean? But I don't know what people thought. But I'm very clear at this point. I was kind of naive in the beginning, but I'm very clear with what I'm dealing with, who I'm dealing with, and the task that's at hand. And I keep that in front of me, to keep me navigating through this thing, navigating a Nebuchadnezzar through the darkness.
Great.
Definitely want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Caller from the 832-508-832 caller. Peace.
What's up, man? This is Brother Sakino.
Peace.
Yeah, man. Look, man. I like y'all show. I like y'all too personally. But I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. There's been a whole lot of cockery and a whole lot of dick stroking going on the show lately. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. That shit Polite pulled.
Statement, though, brother.
Okay, I'm gonna get into it. That shit Polite pulled, where he dominated a conversation. It just reminded me of the time when I was in school and seen a nigga get fired on it, didn't swing back, but when he got home, talked about he should have swung back. And you talking to a nigga that come from the same school of thought as him, okay? That was the first. And I know the brother is young, but he had a grown man sit on this phone line and tell him, nigga, when you come out, you better be ready for war, okay? Now, I don't know. Now, everything I'm talking about, the niggas from NYC, is they supposed to be up on it. I'm in the Houston area, nigga, but I'm from L.A., and I know gangster when I see it, and I know gangster talk when I hear it. And the way that nigga said he did it was a good old-fashioned ass-whooping. But it wasn't about the information and the knowledge, but it was an ass-whooping in the light of in the way the public was perceiving shit. And he got to understand at the end of the day, that's what the shit was about, okay? Now, said he couldn't hold he can't hold his jockstrap when it comes to that information and knowledge, but that ain't what Seti's job is. Seti's job is to hopefully try to, spark interest as far as, a revolution and get that shit going. He's a general. So So Polite should have knew this, but I don't know how you could come from the school of Dr. York and not know this. Because Doc would have told him straight up, nigga, you went out there unprepared playing games, and you got your ass handed to you. And all this shit about when my family was there, well, nigga, you ran the venue. Why your family wasn't in the back room somewhere? Because you know it was going to get hairy from a conversation that happened on this same radio show 2 weeks prior. Okay? He ran the whole event. And all this shit about contracts and this, niggas don't care about contracts. Street niggas don't care about contracts. Okay? I'm a nigga that make money in the stock market, and I know how to make money on that end. But at the same time, nigga, I'm from the streets of LA, and I know how to get out on that end, too. And he should, too, because he claimed he was a Crip. You know what I'm saying? Running around NYC, which I didn't even know they had Crips until I seen the nigga say it. But okay, fine, fuck it. You know, okay, fine, fuck it. Now, my next problem was this. And I'm going to keep it 100. Okay. This shit about certain people started consciousness in 2001? I just heard that show the other day. Hold on, bro. Let me speak.
All right, go ahead.
And I can tell you for a fact, brother, from the times of the Good Life in the early 90s all the way up to 2012 present, I've been studying information and knowledge that I know a lot of other cats have. And for Dr. Phil to think that he's the reason that this shit got his second leg, or third leg, fourth leg, or whatever, that's bullshit. And I'm calling it how I see it. And I had an issue with him and Rashid before, but I ain't gonna blast it, but they have done some very different things in the past. And I think it's time for niggas to put other niggas in their place, because we starting to feel too good, and we ain't accomplished shit yet. Now go ahead, brother, let me have it.
All right. What I would say about Phil and his contribution to the lecture scene, which started in the 80s, when you listen to the show, The Origins of the Metaphysical Underground Community, you will hear him talk about him sitting at the feet of Dr. Clark and him sitting at the feet of other master teachers. But what you see as the lecture series, not to say that there was no lectures before that. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the metaphysical underground, this new genre that you see right here. This genre was created, it was jump-started by Bobby Hemmett out of Atlanta, Phil Valentine out of New York, Delbert Blair out of Chicago, and other people. There was contributors to that community such as Sister Burke, Clemson Brown, Black Dot, Brother Chris, Brother Shabazz, other brothers that had very integral parts that played into building up the whole thing. And when we say that they are the progenitors of it, we're not saying or negating that they may be brothers that were teaching in California, or there may be brothers that were teaching other places. But what we are saying is the conscious community, from my standpoint, the way that I see it, it had its origin inside of New York City in the 80s. Now, I'm not saying that the Nuwaubians or the Nation of Islam or other organizations that have existed for almost 100 years, they were also part of the conscious community. But when all of this information came together under one umbrella, what you see now is a result those brothers were doing inside of those lecture halls for damn near 30 years. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Let me say this to you then. Okay, hold on. Because, like I told you, I'm from L.A. I live in Texas now for a year. I'm here getting my money now. So, but I know, because we got a station that Stevie Wonder on in L.A. called KJLH. And I heard both of them Negroes, Bobby Hemmett and Phil Valentine, come on that radio station. However, Asher Quasi, Marlena Correa, Runoko Rashidi, Richard King, we talking about metaphysical. Richard King?
Those are legends.
He was based out of L.A. I'm like, what the fuck?
Hold on. Calm down, family.
But I'm just saying that this is the kind of concrete that I hate when it comes to this thing called consciousness, because sometimes I feel like brothers is basically they're trying to impose what they want this shit to be, instead of letting this shit be what it is. Let the masses say who kicked this shit off.
Say it again.
Let the masses say let the masses determine who did what and when that. Because there's going to be a time when somebody got to come back and put this shit together like they do hip-hop, like they do anything else. I mean, Bambaataa got an affair to the Smithsonian. There was a New Orleans there. And that shit go all the way back to the early 80s. And I say maybe even the 70s. And I'm trying to say, what the fuck? Phil done started motherfucking, I ain't saying he ain't intelligent, but he done started this shit right here. This shit go all the way back to time before.
I understand. That's why the show was done, and we brought forth. It wasn't just Phil Valentine on the show. It was a 2-part show. I encourage you to listen to it because it's in the archives, and that's why we brought forth not just Phil Valentine, but many of the brothers and sisters who were in the community at that point in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, and later on. There are different waves of individuals who played a part in reviving. When I say reviving, I mean bringing back to life, meaning that it died down. There are people who have done the work. Of course, Osrock Kwesi, Runoko Rashidi, all the way, Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben. They were doing lectures with audience that you'll never see in lectures these days. Thousands of people in the audience, 500 people in the audience, all kind of stuff. But what I'm saying is this, brother, without trying to sound like I'm playing favoritism or that we're trying to recreate or rewrite anything. That's why we did the show, so we could put it in the archives and we could put it on record so nobody could come along and say, that's not what happened. Well, this is what happened. Things like that.
That's what I mean by y'all basically trying to create what y'all perceive as reality for y'all, though. But I'm sure it's a lot of...
What do you mean, y'all? Who's y'all? What do you mean, people from New York?
Okay. No. When I say y'all, everybody that was on that phone call, that was y'all shit. And it negated a whole bunch of other people because...
So, my thing is this.
It was personal stories.
It wasn't a negation. It was an open forum, and we left the lines open. Granted, we are telling the story as we experienced it here in New York. We said when these brothers came forth, okay, and we made mention of everyone, maybe didn't put everyone in, but we still made reference that if we leave anybody out, please don't take it personal.
Y'all trying to figure out why shit don't happen the way it should in this community, and then when we do shit like that, they create division. Then it's like, oh shit.
How's somebody creating, brother? The work has already been done. What are you talking about? The 30 years has already.
To say that we kicked this shit off in 2001, us, Phil and Bobby, like, get the fuck out of here, right? I ain't gonna
Nobody said that it was kicked off in 2001. That's where you're wrong. Nobody said it was kicked off in 2001.
Like I said, can I get my part in? Hold on. Can I get my part in? Because what I got to say will connect with what it is you have to say. There's multiple times that we've had Asher Kwesi on the program, and I've personally credited him with opening my eyes. But you know how I got Brother Asher's information? By way of VHS. He wasn't coming over here and doing lecture hall series over here in New York at that particular time. Hold on. Now, this was like 99, 2000. My brother was incarcerated. He didn't come home. When he came home, I had a Valentine tape that I passed him, an Asher Kwesi tape. So what he's referencing and what he's talking about, and what the majority of people on these programs are talking about, is these are people that came out of the street life 2000, 2001, and they started coming into consciousness. When they came into this venue called consciousness, the people that met them at the door at that particular time, the resurrection at that particular time was led and was helmed by people such as Phil Valentine, Bobby Hemmett, things of that nature, Delbert Blair and people like that. But they still was exposed to, and the only way that they got exposed to people doing lectures prior to that was on tape, VHS. They got the Clarks, and they got the Dr. Benz. But that's not excluding what anybody has contributed prior to these brothers coming forth. These brothers were able to pick up something that it just wasn't present at the time that they came. There was nobody doing lectures out here. There wasn't even nobody holding street ciphers. The shit was dead. There's no consciousness. So that's what we are crediting.
All them big mouth niggas in New York. I find it very hard to believe there wasn't some big mouth nigga in New York screaming some information somewhere. The niggas are good for that. But anyway,
well, I'm explaining to you. There was nobody in the street bringing the information. I know during the time of Biggie and Pac, when the height of street shit was really going down on a whole nother level other than just some local shit. Niggas are still finding information back in LA, and I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, I knew some of these individuals and some of this metaphysical shit way back in the day, and I'm like, well, because Phil came along now, I mean, because Doc was teaching this shit all the way back in the goddamn 60s and 70s, and I'm like, well, and that's another thing that fucked me up is I hear like how motherfuckers just kind of slide over his movement and they give it to like Phil. Like that nigga ain't never said nothing that Doc ain't never said Phil. I ain't never, that nigga ain't never been on no level to where we can't understand him. And for the nigga to sit back and make it seem like he's a progenitor, like you say, to something new and a whole new level of information, well, nigga, bring it. Because I remember when the Wabians was, when niggas was screaming, oh, the black man is God, and the Wabians was screaming, the black woman is God, via Doc. When niggas was talking about Adam and Eve, Doc was telling niggas it wasn't no motherfucking Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. And see, because I see where that's going, where niggas trying to make it seem like, oh, it's a nigga from the West Coast, he's trying to make it seem like it's West Coast. No, nigga, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying information and people have gotten from people responsible for certain information seem to be getting left out of the pie. And I'm not saying pie as far as money, because that's what this shit is slowly turning into. However, I want you to get paid. I want everybody to get paid. But I'm just saying, as far as what niggas deserve, as far as credibility for the work they put in, you know, regardless of whether or not a nigga went to jail for 135 years for child molesting, okay, nigga, they sentenced the nigga on Martin Luther King's birthday, which court just closed on a holiday. Like, nigga, he the first man to ever go to the Supermax prison on a child molesting case. Like, nigga, for niggas to act like that they can't see that and don't understand the science of it, but they understand science and information, like, man, that's some bullshit. And then to like march out as the nigga that's going to represent New Orleans, when we got people like Don, our brother Anthony Evans is what his name is, Dr. Anthony Evans down in Georgia, there should really be the nigga out here repping this movement on behalf of the New Orleans. Hold on. With the points that you're raising, granted, they have their credits, but those are not issues that we raise on this program. Now, what I do want to ask you about, because you mentioned something with Polite early in the program, and I'm not kind of clear on what it is that you were saying, because you said, all right, do you feel as if we shouldn't have had him back on the program to talk about what it is that he wanted to talk about? Because I've had this conversation at least 10 times with other people. I want to know what it is your take, because we said we would open the line, we're open to criticism, because we want to grow from these particular things. So I'm not responsible for whether or not the brother prepared himself for his debate. You know what I'm saying? I'm not prepared. I'm not responsible for necessarily how he prepared himself or what his response was. We gave him an open platform where he can address an open audience. So
but
what is it about what we did? Okay. What is it about what we did?
Y'all two didn't do nothing except for one thing. You let that nigga talk an hour and a half about the same bullshit over and over and over without opening up these phone lines to niggas that was going to hold his ass to the fire. That's why I sat on hold. I sat on hold an hour and a half waiting to get at this nigga, because the one thing that a New Wabian, a real one, gonna do is accept responsibility. And he didn't do that, and Tahuti was right when he called his ass out for it. And he explained to him, look, you young, and your ass has stepped into something, and you got a whole group of brothers out here riding behind you. Now, I'm not a New Wabian like that, but I do study the doctrine. And I do, Dr. York is a good friend of mine, like Mama Pearl would say. I got love for Dr. York. I got love for Dr. Ben. I don't have love for niggas coming out here slandering either one of them, one against each other, because I read a book of Dr. York's. I believe it was, I want to say either Luciferian Conspiracy or Jesus Found in Egypt, where Doc specifically said go out and get Dr. Ben's books. Go out and get, people like Dr. Clark's work. He was suggesting that you read some of this. And I'm privy to a conversation where Dr. Ben was telling a friend of mine when he was in the hospital, man, when he spoke to him on the phone, he said, man, you read everything you can. He said, you want to know what they say, what we say. He said, you want to be ready for everything. I'm just not with this shit about us pitting each other against each other, because I'm going to tell you something. The New Wabian community came a long way through all the fighting and the bullshit, and to see that niggas is now pinned in the corner again against everybody, it's a fucked up thing. And Polite as a nigga, he got a face on that, because he shouldn't have walked into this shit, because another motherfucker got a problem with Son Netter, because where everybody's pain is located, Son Netter's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood, okay? You understand, Hanky? He seems like a dude that's in an abusive relationship with everybody. When they finish with him over here, it's flapping to the other side, and he go over there, okay? I don't get down with that. Either you fuck with this or you fuck with that, or you do your own thing. And Son Netter is a modern-day God king of this consciousness shit. And that street justice gonna come to that nigga if you don't stop doing that kind of shit. We gotta stop throwing our people under the bus when they go out here and do this work, man.
Yeah. Granted, like I said, everything that you said, you know what I'm saying, has been received. I'm gonna relay the messages to everybody that needs to hear it. You feel me? But in regards to what you were saying about we let the brother talk for an hour and a half, if you was listening to the episode, you would have heard this multiple times that I tried to bring the brother back to the center to have a conversation about what he came onto the program to talk about. Okay?
He didn't have shit to talk about. That was the point, brother. He was making excuses. That's the whole point. He's 26 years old, 27. That nigga ain't ready for that level of competition. That nigga ain't ready for that arena. He's a teacher. He's not a leader. He's a damn good teacher. I got love for the brother. But one thing that Seti said, which is, nigga, I'm from the 90s, okay? I come from a different school of thought. We didn't do skinny jeans. We didn't act weird. We didn't do none of this shit y'all niggas do. I understood that because I remember in 92, we had 1,200 gang murders alone in L.A. We're talking about gang murders, not the other ones. So I understand the mindset that this nigga Seti was in, and I wanted to tell the nigga Polite, look, this nigga coming at you. I don't know how to catch up with this nigga. I think the nigga think he know everything, so he wouldn't have listened anyway. So I don't have no major issues with y'all like that. I got an issue with that one episode, like I said, where, you know, people accept the responsibility for whatever they accept the responsibility for. But in the end, I can get over that shit. The Polite shit just put me on a whole nother level because I see how niggas look at Doc and the information on that side now. And I love how everybody is correcting information now, but they wouldn't correct information when the man was free. They wasn't even talking about the shit he was talking about. I don't know another black movement that ever happened where niggas got into the information on the level that Doc did, except for them niggas were talking about them same 120 questions in New York, like niggas have said. And then Doc come along, and it's like, even if he ain't the nigga to get all that credit, he deserves some, because he changed the way niggas thought about information and trying to get out here and use it on a whole nother level. And
look, I haven't met a brother yet in these streets of New York or in this quote unquote consciousness hasn't been affected in some way by Dr. York's information. So his net stretches very far and wide. And, you know, at some point, we obviously going to have to do a show dealing with correcting some of the misdirection that has been targeted his way based on all of the accusations and everything else that comes with that. So we're going to do something that's going to be dealing with that. We're also going to do a program that's going to be edifying and putting in place what needs to be put in place for the teachers that came before 2000 or the late 1990s. You know what I'm saying? Because there's been many. And we're going to do that.
That's right. But again, it is motherfuckers, again, I heard them on your show again, that will publicly go out and to give props and credit, and they'll do a lecture circuit with a New Wabian and a radio show, but then privately I'll be saying some other shit. You know what I'm saying? And the nigga, he can't say nothing to me. Nigga, I wish I still had the email, but the nigga that come on this show, you think one thing about New Wabians privately, but get on a goddamn radio show with him and act like it's online. I'm like, God damn, okay, what part of the game is this? I don't even know niggas like this. This is consciousness. And then the nigga got nerve to talk slick. And you in my city, nigga. I got calling them boys on you, nigga. That whole lecture shit is over. Like I said, niggas don't know they need to watch their mouths, man. You know what I'm saying? Niggas step on a lot of toes. Niggas play a lot of games. Them streets don't fuck around with them games and that girlishness. So I'm gonna let that shit be. I'm gonna let that shit be what it is. I think we all know what I'm saying, and we all know who I'm talking about. But I ain't gonna call a nigga name on this radio show.
No doubt. But like I said, to my understanding and to my knowledge, and I might have to go back on the show and listen to it, but I do believe that Dr. York was given his props on that show. What we were talking about the origin.
Dr. York was used in a way that, it felt like, you know, we did a little bit
about the show.
One of your brother, Chris. So, I was fucking with York, and then I moved on the field. I'm like, whoa, okay. Well, I don't know whether to take that as Doc wasn't deep enough or Doc didn't. I didn't really know. But I just did it. I let it be. I didn't, because
brother, in the 80s, in the 80s, we all had Dr. York tablets. We all had the books like This Is New York that you're talking about. We all know for the Dr. York books. Hold on. A lot of brothers who are in this community right now who find themselves in metaphysics, moral science, they came through different channels. Brothers came through different doors. They came through different schools of knowledge. Dr. York being one of the main ones, because Dr. York and Nation of Islam and the God Bodies being one of the main ones in the 80s, because those were the most dominant. But what I'm saying is some of us evolved and we began to deal with other information, and we began to listen to other teachers, not to discredit Doc, not to say that he didn't know what he was talking about. We continued on with our teachings, brother. So that's all ain't nobody negating Dr. York and what he did for the hood. I had hood dudes, like real street niggas, you know what I'm saying? I talk about this on the show often, with Dr. York books telling me that the black man is God. When I was a little dude, I never heard no shit like that. So there was an impact of York stuff. Nobody's negating that. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is this, and what the show was, once again, was about the lecture circuit and what we know commonly today as the conscious community. When people were dealing with the Nuwabians and they were dealing with the Nation of Islam, they weren't referring to that movement as the conscious movement. The conscious community is all of the schools of knowledge, all of the different organizations, all of these congealed into one.
Which brings me to my next topic, brother, which is...
What's your next topic?
We've been studying this shit, everybody, forever, okay? When are we going to finally agree on a platform to teach our kids on a basis that everybody can, all the so-called teachers, the masters, put together so that we can teach our kids, so we can stop arguing and fight? Because like I told you, I done seen the Nuwabians go through this shit before, and it ain't pretty, bro. Niggas lose their lives over some of this shit.
Yeah.
Everybody don't agree on everything.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's y'all got a good spirit, bro. But I'm just saying to you, I listen to y'all, so I like y'all personally. Else I couldn't listen to 2 hours of this shit. So I'm just saying to you, man, that just be aware that y'all do got a whole lot more power than y'all think. And I just turned about 4 or 5 cats on to y'all. And y'all got one of the more popular shows. I listen to y'all, Culture Freedom. I did my 2 shows I like. I like the Brother of the Cold Science Network. I like y'all shows. And I
appreciate that.
And I hear the red pill always say, man, he had no clue how far this shit was reaching. Man, look, I done been alone in Texas, broke in a motherfucker when I first got here, and didn't have nothing but my iPhone to download this shit with. And then this is what kept me company, got me through all 3 of y'all shows. And this is what I've been rolling with since. So I'm just saying to you,